How about now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me all? Hey, there we go. The comments are coming in. Thank you, Chaos. Thank you, Diffan, Oliver, Mark. Sorry about that, folks. Even on birthdays, things don't go according to plan. Anyway, folks, I'm going to repeat some of what I said. Here we are. 5 years. Oh my goodness. Since this little hobby that I thought, oh, I've got no hobbies. Let's start a motorsport page. And yeah, I've ended up speaking to lots of people, and you lovely lot are all tuning in, and there's 50 of you already, my word. So, yes, normally I drink coffee, but I have a beer tonight. I have a beer in the Indy 500 pint glass, because you have to. So, yes, evening, Simon Beale. Good evening, mate. I hope you're very well. Eiffel Ronaldo, Nikki, over by the old Nürburgring. Not a bad place to be. Thank you for tuning in. Tash Stratton, hello. Dan Appleby, hello, mate. Dan, thank you for the donation to the fundraiser earlier. Brilliant. Mark Perks, hello, mates. Ollie Taylor, Diffan, Kales, Colin Peach, Keith Mail, everyone else. Thank you very much for tuning in, you guys. Very, very, very nice to have you on board. As I said before, pardon me, we're just going to have a bit of a chat about motorsport. There's been plenty going on. The BTCC has a new champion, which was lovely. Very good to hear. Sorry, very good to see. And even if you're a Tom Ingram fan, obviously commiserations to Tom Ingram. What a top draw champion he is, and lovely to see him applauding Jake when he won. So that was super. So yeah, we're going to talk motorsport very, very soon. What I did say when the sound was off is that we have got some special guests are going to hop in tonight, hopefully throughout the course of the evening. I've said to them to come on at about 15:15, 30 20 past, whatever, really. Some of them are in the UK, some of them aren't. So hopefully some of them are going to hop on. What we got here? The guy from Teti Alpha. Yes. Thank you, mate. Happy birthday. Thank you. Vinny Hilditch, hello. I hope you're well, Vinny. Thank you for tuning in, my friend. Tash Stratton, hello. Yes, happy birthday to the hardcore. This is crazy, isn't it? Everyone's saying happy birthday. Before we go on, the fundraiser for Racing Against Dementia has gone live on the page. It's there today, and we've already had some lovely donations already. So the target is £1,000, and we want to smash that one out of the park. Excuse me, and we're already a third of the way there, and we've only been live for about 5 or 6 hours. So if you're sitting on a device now and have another one handy, and you want to get involved and want to win some cool stuff, there's a big prize list which I went up yesterday. And if you want to go on, go to justgiving.com/page/THCRAD, the Hard Compound Racing Against Dementia. So yeah, justgiving.com/page/THCRAD. Make a donation and you could win some good stuff. Right, okay. Now, first guest has clicked in. I don't know if the camera's working, but we're going to find out in just a minute. So here we go. Let's see how this goes. Right, we have a picture of a car. We have a nothing. Who is it going to be behind the? Who's it going to be behind the camera? Anyway, guys, if you have any questions about motorsport, any thoughts about motorsport, do put them in, and we're going to see if this here camera works. If person on other end of camera, if you want to hit refresh, please do. See if that works. So yeah, here we are. So before we bring the person in, what did everyone think? This is the question for the Brits. What did everyone think about the British Touring Car Championship finale? What did everyone think? Apart from the fact that it was wet and dark. It was a pretty good day, wasn't it? I think walking around the paddock and Paddock Hill Bend and Druids and all that down at Brands Hatch, I think I might have done more miles than some of the drivers. I think I pulled a hamstring, my thigh went pop. But it was great to be involved there and managed to grab Jake just after he won the title as well. Oliver Taylor, a superb finale, absolutely brilliant. Tash Stratton, absolutely fantastic. Keith Mayle, brilliant racing. Tracy Hickley, absolutely brilliant. Here we are. Good question. What's my opinion on Michael Andretti stepping down? It's obviously his choice, of course. Excuse me. Obviously his choice. I mean, what he's built with Andretti Autosport across IndyCar and the World Endurance Championship and excuse me, like in Indy next, and they've got a finger in the supercars pie, haven't they? I'm just going to take this one off for a minute until the person can come back. And they've got their finger in the supercars pie with Walkinshaw Andretti United. I think what he's built and the career that he had, obviously F1 didn't quite go the way he wanted. I think partly because he was commuting to and from the States for every race and every test, and that's going to take a toll on anyone. Having Ayrton Senna as a teammate could have been a big help. I think it hindered him. But Michael Andretti, IndyCar champion, never won the 500, which was absolutely staggering. But I think he's earned the right to step back on his own terms, and he's obviously been in Andretti Autosport. He's been racing for 40 years plus. And I think he maybe wants a break, and it's time to hand it over. Maybe take the racer's head off and hand it over to the business side, to his partner. And good luck to him. Obviously, the name's going to stay, as far as I'm aware. I've had a few chats with Paul Page, the voice of the Indy 500, he seems to think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea. I think to save burnout, I think it's good to keep things fresh, which is super. Right, guest has just logged in. Camera's working. I'm just going to go through a few comments. Hang on a moment. What we got here? Gore, you are on form, you lot, already. Marcus Mars, congratulations to Jake Hill and West Surrey Racing. Absolutely. Great to see some amazing emotion involved there. Good finale. Reminds me of 2013 at Brands when Andy Jordan won. Was there that day. That was a great day, wasn't it? That was a bit of a nail. That was a nail biter. Keith Mayle, shame we lost Ash from the title race early in race one, but that's racing. Yes, the contact with was it Josh Cook, didn't he? His left rear, he got a bash and it locked up and it turned Ash round because that car was on rails, wasn't it? The Napa Racing Focus, absolutely on rails. And I think if Ash could have won that first race, he might have won the second one. And what a Sunday we could have had. But it's all ifs and buts, which was a real shame. Oliver Taylor, Tom Ingram pulled some of the best overtakes of the year. Absolutely. We saw your video, Ollie, on Twitter, Artified, Gravit-esque on Soper. Absolutely right. That was a very cool little mixed video you did. I like that. Christine Carvo. Hello, Chrissy, my good friend Chrissy. Happy birthday, the Hard Compound. Thank you. Diffan Wade Evans. It was a great day, Rich. Jake has had a great season and is thoroughly deserving the title. Yes, absolutely. The worst bit of the day, Diffan, was I kept bumping into you. No, I'm joking, of course, mate. I'm joking, of course. James Gibson Artworks. Evening, Rich. Yes, evening, James. Thank you for your donation of the prints to the fundraiser giveaway. Absolutely love those, guys. You are going to want to win one of those. Mark Perks, thank you for your donation of the Trade Price Cars Racing jacket. Really appreciate that. Really good to finally meet you in person on Sunday, mate. He said it was his 39th year at the BTCC. Never fails to disappoint. Mr. Gow should give me a pass for life by now. Absolutely. Should we work on that? We'll try and pull some strings. Roger Algar, storming drive in the last race by Jake to win the BTCC. Great climax to an awesome season. Absolutely. Fully agree. Yes, just glad that it was all decided on track and it wasn't controversial and there was no other stuff that went on. Just unfortunate with what happened to Druids in race one, but a great day. And Suzanne Cole says happy birthday. Right, okay, we have caught up. We've got a guest. And I haven't spoken to the guest. She's smiling at me, look. I haven't spoken to this guest for 3 years. She came on when she was doing karting and looking to get into F1000, which she has done, and she's doing rather well. So we're going to bring her in for a quick hello. Here we go. Kales.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I was trying to connect it on my tablet, but it wouldn't seem to like switch the camera to me, so I had to go on my phone rectangular.
Oh, okay. No, that's all right. No, we kind of saw a picture of a car in a box. That I think that was the camera facing the wrong way. But no, good stuff. Yeah, as I said, it's been 3 years, isn't it, since you came on and we had a chat.
Really ages. For us tuning in, myself, my dad, I think my nan, my mom, everyone tunes in all the time to all the guests you have on. But I think it's been we always in contact, but it's been 3-4 years since we've actually had a chat about the racing scene or anything like that. So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you sent me a voicemail and I listened to it and I meant to reply and I didn't. And then I sent you a message and then you've been very, very supportive and you've come on to all the chats and everything. Oh, hang on a minute. Someone else has just logged in as well. We're gonna come to you as well, Chaos. We're gonna go to someone who's laughing at me. Chaos, this is gonna be fun. Yeah, I can see him now. He told me he was gonna log on, but he's at a pool tournament and he's had a few beers, I think. So this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna bring him in. Hang on.
I'm just
Michael Crease.
How are we? I'm
Very well, mate. How are you?
Here I am. So, yeah, this is what I do every Wednesday. Is we play for the Flying Horse in Ramsgate.
Oh, fantastic. Excellent. How's it all going?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, so far 1-0 up. So,
There you go.
yeah. How is everybody? How are we?
Guys, get in the comments. Answer the man.
Well, I ain't got no comments. You've added me on some stream thing, and I can't see any comments coming up yet. How do I do it?
I'm gonna wait for it to come on here, and I'll relay them to you. I don't know, Creasy, have you met Kales? Kales Cole, top racer. Have you met? Can you see Kales on the screen?
Yes. How are you?
good,
Yeah.
thank you.
How old are you?
Old am I?
How
You can't
old are
ask
you?
that. You can't ask that, can you?
Not like that. I was just wondering if I could swear or not.
Yeah, I know. But... Kales, what are you? 21 now? 21?
Oh, well, that's all right then. That's all right. So the language hasn't got to be tamed.
No, we're all right. We can say what we like. No, Chaos is doing really well in F1000. She came on for a chat a few years ago.
Oh,
and obviously
wow. Yeah.
And obviously,
that's
we
cool.
all know that Greasy last seen in. Well, you were last seen in the Porsche Super Cup, weren't you?
Super Cup British Grand Prix. Yeah. Last time I was out this year, obviously doing a one-off at the Grand Prix. Let me just go somewhere where I can sort of see and log on what's going on. Yeah. So we've had a year off. Got the call up to do the British Grand Prix just a week before, and there's the pass. Yeah, there you go. There's one of the.
Guys, you can win this. This is the lanyard pass signed by the man himself. There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So when's your step up to cars then?
Well, you're in F1000 now, aren't you? Are you looking to?
I'm in F1000 now, but obviously single series is a really expensive route to keep going. So I'd like to go down the GT route, like Porsche Carrera Cup Series or something like that. But
Well, if you need a fast bronze driver, I'm your man. So I'm officially at bronze status now. I've actually turned 40. So
you're in the club now. The 40 plus.
Jason Plato was moaning on Saturday that he's still classed as a silver. He's been downgraded from a gold to a silver, but he's about 100, so he should definitely be a bronze. And if the crazy cart's anything to go by, he should be worse than a bronze.
Is like tin, or is it, I don't know, aluminium or something? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what JP should be. But it was good fun.
Nah, good stuff. I can't really say anything about JP because I did send him the link to this evening. I don't know if he's going to hop on.
Is he coming on?
He might not bother now.
He'd be worse than me. He would be.
Oh, I know. Well, he came on for a chat, and that was lively. See, at least Kale behaved herself when she came on.
Say that again.
I was saying that at least Kale's behaved herself when she came on.
Yeah. I'm on my best behaviour. We've got a female in the room. So what's going on there? What's going on? What's going down? It's your birthday, I believe, isn't it? Happy birthday.
Well, not me personally, but
Yeah,
of the
but
page.
the show, yeah.
Yeah, 5 years since I set this thing up.
Hey, I tell you what, right? I'll be honest with you. I think that you've done an absolute mega job for the people that you've got on, just from sort of starting something up when I first met you, whenever back in
2020.
19 or, yeah, or 19 or whatever it was,
Yeah,
from
2020.
Spring Car. But yeah, but to set up what you've done and have the people that you've got on there, not many people can do that.
Yeah, it's I don't get it.
Nor do I. Nor do I.
I don't-
Maybe we should. Maybe now I'm retired, pretty much. Maybe we should join up and because I want to be part of it. It's amazing. Whenever I tune in, like as you can see, I'm always like, no way, he's got him. He's got him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. One I do remember is big old name drop in it when I had Mario Andretti on.
Mm.
I remember you commented saying, "I can't believe I'm seeing this," and that was exactly what I was thinking.
Well, the thing was, right, is in 2021, I had to pinch myself because I just raced at Monaco, just got back from Monaco and got invited to the hill climb down at Goodwood in the Hillman Imp.
Oh yeah, the
And
Beverly.
I'll never forget it. Obviously, it's the first time I've ever been invited down there to drive up the hill. I was in an absolute classic, obviously won the championship in 70, 71 and 72. The only car to ever win it in back-to-back years. And then when you turn up there, I didn't really know where to go, what to do, whatever. So I'm sort of milling about, winging my way through it and all this sort of stuff. And obviously we'd just come out of lockdown in the UK. That was the first weekend that we come out of lockdown. And obviously,
Right,
obviously there was like there was about 150,000 fans there or whatever. And I've gone into the driver's lounge, and it's my turn to go up the hill. So I've got getting ready, putting my race suit on and stuff. And it's like at Goodwood, it's like a big tent. And I remember going in there and putting my race bag in, and you got people like Jason Plato and all that, like all milling about. So you're having a laugh anyway. And then just as I was pretty much naked, I turned around and see Mario Andretti, Jackie Stewart, Bruno Senna, and I was just like, "This is so surreal!" Like, I'm having
You're standing there in your underpants.
Yeah. Then I went for a piss and I turned around and I got David Coulthard standing next to me and stuff. it was just like, it was absolutely mental, honestly. And then to come out down the red carpet and all that, it was such a surreal experience. And obviously when you had Mario on there, I just was like, wow, like this is not only if I shared a room with him and probably a toilet, but to see him on there as well, it was quite impressive.
Yeah, it was meant to. That one, no disrespect to all the other folks who have come on because they've been brilliant, but it was him and Chip Ganassi. You can see for the first 20 minutes, I'm just sitting there, just like, I'm not even tuned in. I'm just like, yeah, it's Mario.
I remember my first.
I didn't get that with you.
Touring
Sorry,
car race. When I went into touring car, I remember like I started, and Bobby Thompson was my teammate at the time, and I said to him, "Well, where did you first come?" And he went, my first ever touring car race. I come 18th. I qualified like 20th or whatever. Come 18th, and this is when touring car had like 32 cars on the grid, right? So I was like, oh, I was a bit under pressure. I think I qualified 27th or something in my first qualifying. And then I don't know if you remember, but obviously it was wet, and I put slicks
Yeah.
on. And in my first ever race in touring car, I was just like, oh well, here we go, let's go for it. I remember coming 12th, right, but on the way up through the pack, I overtook Jason and I overtook Colin Turkington. And I was on the radio going, I've just overtaken Colin Turkington. I've just done Jason Plato. And obviously I was so excited at the time on the radio, and all the boys still like remember it with my team at Team Arden back in the day. But
That's amazing.
that's another pinch yourself moment when you're doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, that's the thing. I mean, I just talk to people. You get to race against them and beat them. It's just
very rarely, but yeah, I do.
Hang on, have you still got your door, the Blundell door?
Yeah, still got
Still
it.
got
He bought it for me and sent it to me for a birthday present. But yeah, that is a great picture. And I done Blundell. Me and him sort of hate each other in 19. But I texted him yesterday and said, "Is there any chance I could join his stable for the 2025?" He basically told me to fuck off. But unless I've got 450 grand, is Mark Blundell's reply. So I left that one.
Yeah, perhaps not. I mean, it'll have to be a hell of a win tonight in the darts, wouldn't it? If you could to fund that.
To be honest, I don't think they got £4.50 to rub together, let alone 450 grand.
The decimals on the left.
So we need to get this young lady into British GT. Then
I was going to say we need to do that. I mean, you know some people. You did a bit of British GT, didn't you?
I did indeed. I turned up, I took the piss, and then got thrown out.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything, but yeah, all right.
No, that's a lie. That's a lie. That is just
That wasn't exactly how it went.
Just so I don't get sued. Yeah, I'm only joking about that. I didn't do anything wrong. But yeah, I had to leave.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good route to go down. I mean, obviously, you mentioned a fee there or a number for the BTCC. It's pretty hefty, isn't it? And
yeah, but to be fair, that's for me. I mean, obviously, I've been in it a few years. I mean, you're looking to get on the grid. You're looking 500 north of 500, 600,000 pounds now to be in a top team. And you know, gone are the days that I used to raise some good money. Obviously, when I raced at BTC, or you know, we're looking at sort of 400k. But the problem is now is the prices have got so expensive in touring car. I only used to pay sort of 250 grand in touring car.
right. And that's only about 5 years ago.
Yeah, well, I think Power Max, my deal all in there was probably 250 or 220, I think. What I paid there. So I was getting good deals. But to be fair with me, I had the fan base. I had like all round. I've been there, like, sort of knocking on the door in the top 10. Won the Jack Sears, obviously, as well. So it sort of helped my cause and my value becomes stronger. And this is what I keep telling to the youngsters. Like, you've got to protect your value. Josh Cook taught me in 2020, and it's something that I haven't forgotten. And this year, obviously, when I had a chance to get in the cars, you know, unlimited and restart and stuff like that. But for me, it's more damaging to my brand and my value than it is to jump in at the top end. And I'm being like on here. I am being brutally honest, and I'm probably telling you things that other people wouldn't tell you. But at the end of the day, that's the way I am, and that's why, and the fans engage with me and everything else. But like I say, it's all about keeping that brand value and keeping yourself in a shop window for the sponsors.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the thing. I mean, it's not just about bringing money in and going racing and there's a much bigger picture, and we spoke with Bobby Thompson about it just before he went to WSR, and he was saying the same thing. You know, it was a shame that didn't work out, but yeah, there's a lot more to it. Yeah, there's some lovely comments coming in saying, yeah, Creasy, love your honesty. You can always rely on a drunk Creasy to entertain. Legend. That's good.
As
Happy
always,
days.
mate, as always. I'll always tell the truth, you know, like for me, people don't want to talk about it, but it's real. At the end of the day, we have to raise 415 grand to go racing now in British Touring Car, and some people are lucky enough to have that money. Some people are lucky enough to have sponsors like Napa. For sure, you wouldn't be seeing Dan Camish on the grid. You know, maybe Ash Sutton, obviously, because of the accolades that he's won, but you wouldn't be seeing Camish on the grid now. And obviously, when he took the year out to do the Porsches, that's still 200 grand, but it's half the price of a touring car. And I think Napa coming in has been amazing for the sport. Bristol Street Motors, you know, big sponsors, Evan Halshaw for Power Max, and all these people that keep it going. And without them sponsors for the teams, we would see that grid down to 10, 15 cars.
Yeah. I mean, excuse me, and that's it is. I mean, it's kind of good that these big sort of brands are coming in, you know, and the big manufacturers are coming in, and they're keeping it. I guess they're keeping it ticking over. I mean, people saying that Napa got 4 cars and so have got this amount of cars and that cars and everything else. But
but Napa are putting in over £1 million, you know.
And they can go testing and all that. So yeah.
You know, but their 2 million quid obviously goes for Minis and Porsches, or you know, and obviously the 4 touring cars and bits and pieces. But you know, let's be honest. I mean, even Cataclysm, Dan Robon, £500,000 a year. It's just mental money. And but people like Dan Robon who work for the brand, who put their heart and soul into the brand and make it work and get a return on investment. And that's what it's all about. You can't go capping hands of people anymore and ask for 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 grand if you're not going to give them anything back.
You actually have to work for it, because like even next weekend I'm supposed to be racing in Ireland, but we've decided to sit it out and we're driving from Ireland to Germany with Potato Nation. So we're driving my race car from Ireland to Germany, but like these are things that like you enjoy doing because of the, you know, the help that they've given you through the year, but you kind of have to do these things. But I don't think people realize in the outside of motorsport how much work and commitment and stuff goes into it behind the scenes to make it happen on track. But people don't see that.
100%. But I actually love the fact that you're sponsored by a potato company coming from Ireland.
That's kind of part of it, because
That
it was
is genius.
it's
In
spot
fact,
on, isn't
they
it?
should be throwing money at you.
Yeah, because it's
Hey,
Lawrence.
can we just
It's
turn
Lawrence,
the
isn't it?
speaker down a little bit? Just sorry.
I just want to. I mean, I just want to say, Chaos, you've heard it. I mean, you are going to get a word in a minute, I promise. But we've got another guy who's just logged in, and we're obviously, Creasy, you're kind of my generation of racing. Chaos is the next generation, and we've got a guy from the previous generation, a guy who actually won the first ever British touring car race I ever watched. And this is going to be fun because he's absolutely brilliant, and I love him. He's one of the best characters ever.
No, who is this going to be?
This is Jerry Marnie from 1988. He won the first ever British touring car race I ever watched at Silverstone, and I love him. And here he is.
Hi guys.
What a
Jerry,
legend!
how are you?
I'm very, very old. It was interesting you talking about Evans Howshaw, because if you look at my RS500 in 88 and 89, I had Evans Howshaw as a sponsor.
Wow.
They were the biggest independent motor group in the UK at that time, and they put in 1989 £250,000 into my running my RS500. My main sponsor was Aquati, which was an Italian company, and in '89 we had somewhere over 300. There you go. There's the car. Somewhere over £300,000, and it wasn't enough to run that car.
Wow.
It was big money then because the engines blew up all the time. But by the way, I wasn't as fat then as I am now. But I'm 70 now.
Oh, well, you're allowed. You're allowed. If I ever get to 70, I want to be like you.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
I don't
Still
think I
having
will
fun.
get there though.
Yeah, still having fun. Anyway, happy birthday, Richard. Many congratulations on getting to 5 years and having all these amazing people on that you have. Even old farts like me, you know, we're still around, we're still watching, and nice to have the younger generation on. You know.
Yeah, this is pretty cool, isn't it? We've got a bit of a spectrum here. This is cool. I mean, and as I said, Jerry, and I don't mean to make you feel old. That's not the aim. But as I said, I mean, back in '88 when I was 7 and Chaos wasn't even born, a long way from being born. Don't think your parents had even met at that point. But yeah, I mean, there was this thing on Grandstand. It was called touring cars, and I said to my dad, "What's that?" He goes, "Well, they're like road cars, but they're a bit more powerful and they look a bit better." And I watched it, and it was you beating Andy Rouse. We won't say that his engine blew up or anything like that. We'll leave that.
He was rubbish
No,
anyway,
didn't blow up. He came back out.
He did. He came back out, didn't he? And
his turbo pipe came off.
that's
But I didn't qualify second. You know, I didn't qualify 10th, and everyone else fell out.
No, you stuck it on pole, didn't you? It was proper.
And I'm still the only guy. Here's a record for you. They don't talk about me in touring cars anymore because I've got a bit of controversy around me. But I'm still.
Come on, tell us what it is. You money laundering.
Yeah.
Nearly. I'm still the only guy to have ever won his very first touring car race. Jason came close in 98, I think it was. He was second in his first ever touring
Williams.
car.
Dan Camish nearly won his first one as well.
Yeah, Camish
Did he?
came close, didn't he?
Okay.
But
Yeah.
no one's done it apart from Jerry.
Yeah, and it was a big thing then because it was on a program called BBC Grandstand, which was on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I remember that.
There were only 3 channels. No one was on TV. Formula One got half an hour on a Sunday night at 9:30, and suddenly these touring cars appeared on the TV. 20 RS 500s, lighting the tyres up 150 miles an hour, spitting flames. And it fired the imagination of the public, much as it does now. It's slightly different now because all these kids drive these hot hatches with noisy exhausts and all popping back and going. But Tim Harvey was my era. You know who Tim Harvey is.
Oh, we know
Tim. He was my driver coach in 2021.
Was he? Well, I tell you what, Tim and I in '89, when he was driving for Labatt's, we had many things I can't talk about in here. Racing in Macau and Australia and different places around the world.
Thing is, though, you did tell us some of the stuff when you came on for a chat. So, guys, if you want to find the chat, it's in the video section on Facebook and it's on the live on YouTube, and it's an absolute belter.
And it's also the 3rd most watched one.
It is.
Jerry, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
What do you rating the level of drivers when you used to race to what the drivers are now? How do you compare them?
Well, I think they're probably more skillful now. We never had data logging. We certainly never had simulators. You only knew the lap time you'd done when you came round the lap after. We did have in-car radios. But no, I think the only person in my day that ever did any karting was Tim Harvey. Right. Johnny Herbert, who was in single-seaters. But there were some really good drivers. I mean, we had people at the Silverstone TT at the end of the season. We had drivers from all over the world come over, and 65 cars qualifying for maybe 40 cars could start. Wow. Dick Johnson from Australia, you've probably heard of him, Peter Brock, people like that.
Rocky, wow.
All over the world, you know, much better than I ever was. But you know, in those days, you used to get a lot of international drivers coming over. And of course, what happened in the era of super touring, when you two were probably very young, then you had in the British series, Tarquini and all sorts of people like that came over and raced. And they were all getting paid.
Yeah, but going just going back on what we first started talking about, the manufacturers were putting millions into that. Even the drivers were getting paid 700 grand. I heard north of that. JP, all of them boys. You know, we're talking millions. And then obviously we're moaning now that we're paying 350, 400 or whatever, or 500. Do you know what I mean? But it's millions and millions of pounds back then.
Yeah, it was, and it got too expensive, obviously, which is why it had to be cut back, because the motor manufacturers will always let you down because the accountants decide when they spend enough money and then they pull out. And in fact, when they brought the 2-litre formula in 1990, which is kind of what you race now, I was totally against it, because in those days, what the drivers did, I raced lots of different cars and different formulas. I even raced trucks for Ford, and I raced in Firestone's European team and things, but different levels of car. And for example, my Group N Sierra Cosworth was more powerful than the new 2-litre formula of touring cars. And I didn't get that, you know. For me, that's probably why I like the Aussie V8s, because they're still big beasts that need like a wild rodeo horse, you know.
Rich,
Awesome, mate.
you look like you need to talk about something.
No, I was just going to say, I've got 3 people who have logged in, and they're all queuing, and they're all looking at me as if to say, "When's my turn?"
Who are
Who's
they?
got on
Who
there?
are they before we let them in?
We have got a short track dirt oval racer called
No.
Lacey Furlow.
No, he's not coming in.
No, it's a she, Lacey Furlow. She's
Oh,
allowed in.
Oh,
She
yeah,
came in.
she can come in. She can come in.
We've got UK Legends champion Will Gibson waiting in the wings.
No.
I don't know who he is. No, I don't
And we've
know.
also got a bit of a legend, Le Mans winner, Benetton driver,
He's in. He's in.
McLaren driver coach, Emanuele Pirro.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
he was.
do you want me to get out then? But just quickly, Jerry, what
Okay,
you're
we'll bring
talking
you a guy.
about truck driving, I might be racing in a truck at Brands Hatch on firework night.
Are you?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Maybe. We're just working on it now with I can't really say actually.
Oh,
I
right,
I
okay.
don't know. Can I say? I don't know. Well, it's with
They-
Neil Yates. I'm going to say it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Neil Yates is putting
they're
it
great
together.
things to race.
Say that again.
They're great things to race.
Yeah, I've never driven one.
yeah.
But I'm going to look forward to doing 100 mile an hour into Paddock Hill bending one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there's a story. Have you ever heard of Eddie the Eagle?
Yes, I feel like Eddie the Eagle.
Well, somebody had the bright idea in '89, just after Eddie Eagle had made a fool of the whole country with his skiing antic, to put him in a racing truck at Brands Hatch. And he was on the back of the grid, and he decided not to lift off on the rolling start for Paddock. And he came past me, I would say, doing 40 miles an hour faster. Took out 100 yards of the Armco, bounced back on, and took out another 5 trucks.
What an absolute legend. Right, I've got to go because I've got to go and play Paul. My game's now. Lovely to see you all.
Yeah, take it
Rich,
easy.
we will definitely catch up again, and I'm happy to come on and lay bare the touring car pins now I'm retired, so I don't give a shit anymore. But I will catch you all later. And if you need any potatoes going over to Germany or whatever, I'll be man.
Yeah.
Right, love you.
Good.
See you
Right,
later.
thanks, Lucy. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
Right.
Cheers. Right, well, that was fun. Sorry, Cows, we're going to get a word in a minute, I'm sure. Okay, we've got 3 people we can bring in. I don't know. I think we can get up to 4, maybe 6. Let's have a look.
Okay.
Let's bring in. Well, he's a legend. Let's bring in Emanuele Pirro because we love him.
Oh,
Mr. Pirro, how are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you.
Emanuele, you wouldn't remember me. I remember.
The thing is, I'm here with my little iPhone because I'm out at business dinner. So I see you guys, although I put my spectacles, but I see you guys very, very, very small.
Yeah, we're quite small. That's the thing with this 4-screen thing.
Yeah, but that's the best I could do because I'm somewhere in Germany, doing some testing, and I just pulled out of the dinner to say hi and to wish happy 5th anniversary to the Hart compound.
Well, that's wow. Honestly, my head is quite big right now. Thank you so much for like stepping away from the dinner and coming in. I was just saying. I mean, I think it's 2 or 3 years since we spoke. I mean, we've had some emails and things, haven't we? But that was amazing when you came on. And you just told us about
time flies. Unfortunately, when you reach my age, 2 or 3 years is just a blink of an eye. Sometimes you think something happened not too long ago, and then you look at the date, and it's been a long while. So yeah, maybe it was 2 or 3 years.
I think, Emanuele, you raced the Texaco car, didn't you? The RS 500 with Steve at one point. I know you raced the BMW.
Yeah, no, I raced against them. I was very good friend of Steve. Very good friend. But actually, they were the opponents. I was at BMW with BMW at the time. And,
was it Bugatti you were with?
Schnitzer.
Oh,
Schnitzer.
Lamb, wasn't it?
Yeah, I heard you were talking about. Say again?
Yeah. Was it Harry Lamb? His name, the Schnitzel
Charlie,
guy?
Charlie, Charlie,
Charlie
Charlie
Lamb.
Lamb,
That's
best
yeah, yeah,
best team manager of
yeah,
all time.
yeah.
Yeah, it was good because there was, now sometimes we sort of, I don't, but some people complain that cars and performances are very equal. But at the time, BMW was a very low powered, very nimble, low fuel consumption car, and the Sierra Cosworth, they were mighty, lots of power, so very, very different racing characteristics. So it was a race of strategy, and it was good time. They had very good drivers: Klaus Ludwig, Klaus Nitzwitz, Pierre Dieudonné, Steve.
Steve,
And I have to say, is a very, very quick anecdote, because, as I said, Steve was a dear friend, and once I was in London and I had to go testing somewhere, so I stayed at his place, and I asked if he could lend me his Sierra Road Car 500 with, of course, special chip with I don't know how many horsepower, but it was a mighty car. And I'm normally very, very respectful of other people's things. So I was really, really careful. But then I see a perfect roundabout with just a damp road. It was just a perfect condition to do a beautiful power slide. Only one in the whole trip. And that was it. And then sometimes later, a friend of Steve obviously saw me doing it, and he thought it was Steve. So he went to Steve and he said, Steve, I saw you this day at this roundabout doing this very big power slide. And he said, no, I wasn't there. And then I was told that it was me.
And he knew who it was.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that.
I
love that. So I just can't believe I can't believe that I'm sitting here. I can't believe that I'm sitting here and this is going on. This is amazing, you guys.
I raced the E30 BMW.
What a beautiful car.
Manual. Yeah, after the RS 500, I did 2 years in the RS 500, then the E30 in Group A form, just before it went to 2 litre, and the chassis on the M3 was just a fantastic car.
Yeah, so beautiful. I sort of lived or witnessed a transition, because before BMW was racing with the 635, which was a beautiful car, if you remember. We raced the one with it was like an X-ray, with the artwork. Everything was painted like it was a drawing outside the body, where you could see through the seat, the damper. It was a beautiful piece of art, all hand painted, and but it was a sort of an oldish car, who had done its time at the time. And then from that car in '86, we went to the M3 in '87, and it was such a big difference. Both the race car and the road car M3, I still remember very well. I wish I could have one now. They were beautiful.
I remember the 635 was a fantastic sounding racing car. The end of the Group A car.
The M3.
Yeah, the M3 was very loud.
In my opinion, even better, because the 4-cylinder BMW, the Formula 2 engine was a similar engine, and I raced the last season in Formula 2, and but the BMW M3 was good when the car was coming towards you, because the air inlet was producing this very peculiar sound. So when the car was heading towards you, it was beautiful. Gentlemen, I am very, very impolite, but my team is going and I really have to go. So that's really bad. I come, I talk and shoot off, but I really wanted to wish happy birthday, and this is really the best I could do. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's amazing that you've been able to come on. I've been sitting here smiling because I can remember watching you when I was very young, and I think I said this when we had the chat before.
And please keep talking about other things than Formula One. Keep talking about a lot of motorsport around Formula One, which is really great and beautiful. And I wish I could spend longer and listen to you, but maybe in 5 years' time, when you celebrate the 10th anniversary, we could do a longer chat.
Absolutely, that would be fantastic. I'm sure I'll still be here. But Emmanuel, thank you so much for coming on. It's been
Yeah,
absolutely
sorry,
brilliant.
I hate to do this. It's really impolite, but really,
No,
I have no choice.
no, it's absolutely
I'm
no problem at all. It's been an absolute pleasure that you popped on. Thank you very, very much. Really appreciate it.
Bye,
good.
Emmanuel.
Ciao,
Bye.
ciao. Enjoy tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
He really is a legend.
Wow, how good was that?
Yeah.
He's only won Le Mans like 5 times, or however many times it is. It's about time he
He-
made the
he-
effort, isn't it?
He was
Right,
one of the
okay.
top drivers of my era,
Yeah.
along with Steve and Neatsvitz and people like that. He was a real top guy.
Top draw and F1 steward
Yeah.
as well, isn't he? And just
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. Right, okay, you're going to bring in. I don't know which one of you two, Lacey or Will. I don't know who logged in first. I didn't see it. It didn't come up. Will's playing. Okay, I'm going to bring Will in. Lacey, I'm going to bring you in just a sec. I think we can do 5. I'll see what we can do. But first, we have a champion in our midst. Kales is going to get a word in a minute. This is sorry.
Potatoes.
Yeah, it's terrible. All right, UK Legends champion Will Gibson. Hello, Will.
Hello, how are we all doing?
Very well, very well. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to see if I can bring Lacey in as well. See if we can bring 5 of us in. Is it going to work? Oh my goodness! It's
another female.
Yes, we're in danger of being outnumbered. So, guys, if you don't know each other, obviously you've got Chaos Cole is in F1000, Jerry Marley, touring car, Thunder Saloons, and helicopter pilot to the stars. Will Gibson, UK Legends champion, double champion, and Lacey Furno, who is making your way on the short ovals and dirts and midgets and stuff, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is cool. I mean, I don't really know where to start because more people have logged on than I ever thought were going to, and I'm a bit stumped. Let's go with Will because I saw you on Sunday at Brands Hatch. It was a good day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very nice. Weather was a bit rubbish. Shame that Ingram didn't win as we were with him in hospitality, but
yes,
it was a nice close championship. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, we can't complain. And obviously, speaking of close championships, you came out on the right side of yours. That was absolutely mega at Alton Park. That was one heck of a finale. And you didn't stove the roof of your car in like Jake did.
Yeah, I was pretty close to. Jake obviously saw me celebrating and decided to copy me by getting on the roof of the car. Fiberglass roof, it's not particularly strong. It was creaking and cracking underneath me, but it just about held out. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much closer than that Legends win. You know, we do 37 races a year, and effectively we won by 1 place over the whole season. So
wow.
We were bumper to bumper pretty much going across the line. So yeah, it's awesome to win it again. It's 2 in a row. Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, it's nice to show the first one wasn't a fluke.
Yes. It's not a flash in the pan at all. And obviously, Will, thank you very much. You've donated some bits for the fundraiser that have launched today. So yeah, what was it? We've got in addition, actually, isn't it? Because there's like 2 bundles. One's a shirt and a hat and a signed photo. The other one's just a hat and a signed photo. But there's an extra bit, isn't there, that you've very kindly added to your main bundle of prizes?
Yes, so Legends generally supports or are part of the American Speed Fest event that Brands Hatch hold. It's a huge country music festival. It's got European NASCARs that come over and race on it. It is without doubt the best event in the UK, best race weekend in my opinion.
Agreed.
So yeah, we've donated 2 tickets to come along. People can come down to the awning, jump in a Legend, see if they can get out of a Legend, which is harder than getting in.
I think yes, agree. Yes,
yeah, as you know, they're not exactly the biggest things in the world.
And neither am I, and I struggled. I'm sort of quite thin.
So, what are you saying?
Nothing at all, Jerry.
I saw one of those Legends races. I think you backed up touring cars somewhere, didn't you, this year?
Yeah, that's right.
It was an amazing. I watched it on the TV, and I was just rolling over. It was an amazing race to watch.
Yeah.
I think, was it at Thruxton or maybe was it at Brands? One of them.
If it was Brands, then Will won it on the very last knockings. He went shooting down the outside and won it.
Because they've been around for years. There was a guy called Terry Grant, who, you know Terry?
Yeah.
He used to, in about 2001, he used to sort of whiz around and do donuts at touring car races during the lunch break, 20 years ago. I can remember he gets out, but I think he still does it, but maybe not with a Legend anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, no, he still does it with a Legend. He holds the world record for doing a donut in a car and changing the wheel whilst the car's still donutting, and he did that in a Legend.
Wait, what? Hang on. No.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy. If you look it up on YouTube, so he gets the Legend donutting on itself, jacks the corner up, so there's a rod that comes down next to the front left wheel. He gets out of the car whilst it's still going round. He then takes the front wheel off and then puts it back on, and then gets back in the car and drives off.
I think he does at NEC show in Birmingham all the time as well.
Yeah. He's crazy, and he's normally at Autosport show. If we ever get invited to shows, so we were at the British Motor Show last year, we try and copy what he does, just not quite as good as what he does.
I'm pretty sure he's older than me as well. He's worn a bit better than me, but he's definitely getting up towards 70, Terry, now.
That's amazing. Just saying about the Autosport show, Will. I've been very lucky, actually. The Autosport show have approached me to help promote the show this year, as they did last year. And they're always looking for different sort of cars and people to be there. Shall I have a word? See if we can get a level. Yeah,
we've always got one show car. So, as you know, the story with my brother that he passed away in 2015. He used to race Legends with me and decided to destroy my car that I had bought. So he had to buy a replacement for me. And we now use that car just for doing demos and having a laugh in and just carrying on the memory of my brother Tim. So we'll always have that spare if you want to put that up on the show.
That's cool. Yeah, I will mention that to the people involved. Still feels weird to be involved in the Autosport show, to be honest. But
there's an Legend team over here called POB Racing. They're always traveling to the UK racing as well, but they race. There's like a huge grid over in Mondello. They race all the time as well in the Legends.
Okay.
I was actually on the phone to Paul O'Brien, giving him some grief about 5 minutes before coming on here, and still am. So we all get on so well.
Yeah, I was racing in Mondello about a month ago. I had to go down to Paul's house, try and get him to change my tires, and he was like, I was ringing him at like 9:30 at night being like, I need to change tires this weekend. But he's always trying to get me into one of the Legend cars, but obviously it'd be a lot of a different drive compared to the single seaters, so we'll have to see.
I think you'll like it. They're brilliant fun. Paul's always got cars that he can hire out to you, so
I'm always trying to take care of him. The pink, there's like a bright pink, the cartoon character. I can't remember who the driver is. But I'm always trying to get that car off him. But we'll see. We'll keep trying.
Yeah, let's do it. Absolutely. Just quickly, speaking of like small cars and things, Lacey, you've obviously moved up. Well, you're moving up to the super late models and the bigger cars. Would you ever look at going down the Legends route? Because there's like there was Bandoleros and Legends, and then you go NASCAR. Would you ever look at getting into a Legend and throwing it around?
Yeah, they're cool. I've never really been in there. Also, sorry if you hear my computer. My work chat is blowing up, and I'm trying to mute it. I can't figure out. I've never raced a Legend car, but I would definitely be interested in it. They, especially where I raced at Millbridge, they used to have at run the dirt track too. So in North Carolina, I don't know if it's like that over there too, but they'll run dirt and asphalt. But no, they're definitely interesting. They're a lot different than a late model or like a midget or something like that. But I definitely would be against driving one.
That'd be cool. I mean, that would be a cool thing to get into, because I don't know if you guys have seen. I had like Ryan Vargas, who Will know, and I'm sure Lacey will as well. Ryan's doing Euro NASCAR, this year, and he's done Xfinity Series over there in the States. I think he's actually out at Zolder in Belgium at the moment. Excuse me. And he said that he went from the Bandoleros up to the street stocks and all the other kind of stuff. And he said that the one thing that he wishes he'd done was Legends, because he said they just look an absolute blast. He said they look like the kind of cars that even if you don't win, it doesn't matter. You could have a terrible day. You could have some absolutely awful results, but you've just had so much fun in the thing.
Whenever they're racing, I think they bring the whole crowd to watch them, because the sound of them on the start when they're rolling starting is just insane.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Alan Gow allows them on the touring cars on the calendar, really, because the times I've seen them race, they're fantastic. I mean, years ago, he used to have the historic touring cars, used to be a backup series for touring cars in the 90s. And they got so popular that he stopped putting them on, you know. So I think Legends, I mean, that race I watched on the TV was just fantastic. You know?
And
so entertaining.
Absolutely. And obviously, you know, the Legends, they're on the British Touring Car Series, which is of course the big sort of ticket thing here in the UK. But you know, you've got your own championship. It's not just a support series, and obviously Will has won that. And honestly, guys, check out the Legends calendar and go and check it out. I mean, you know, we live in the UK. Nothing's very far from anywhere, especially compared to where Lacey is. I mean, I think North Carolina is bigger than England. But yeah, do go and check them out, because they are absolutely awesome. They are superb racing, and it's great to have the champion. I mean, I don't know where it is on everyone's screen, but on me, Will was just down here. So I'm sitting on top of a champion, which is an odd, which is an odd sentence to be saying, isn't it?
I think James Newbury would end up enjoying that comment, but
yeah, well, I invited James on, but we'll see, won't we? Quickly go back to you, Lacey. I mean, we had a chat obviously earlier this year, and you very kindly sent some signed photos, which was lovely. Thank you. What's been going on with you since we spoke? I've been trying to keep an eye out on what you've been up to.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
Yeah, it's been an interesting year. Definitely a lot different than I kind of expected it to go at the beginning of the year, but that's just kind of how racing is. But yeah, I think we're looking pretty solid for next year. I feel pretty good about it. We're gonna be doing some different things, so it's gonna be a lot different than anything I've ever done before. But I'm pretty excited about it. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
I'm intrigued now, because obviously, you know, I've followed your journey so far, and I think we mentioned about like the Chili Bowl and all the dirt ovals and stuff. And the Chili Bowl just look. I mean, guys, again, if you don't know what the Chili Bowl is, Google it. Put the word motorsport after it. Otherwise, we get a load of food stuff, but which is an entirely different search. But I mean, I think I asked you this before. Would you have a go? Yeah, would you try and get to the Chili Bowl and just make the most of that absolutely ridiculous weekend?
No, yeah, I definitely want to run the Chili Bowl at least once. When I made my announcement with the team I ran with, I guess last year we did it at the Chili Bowl, so that was my first experience at Tulsa.
Oh, you were there, okay.
Yeah, that was my first experience at Tulsa at the Chili Bowl. I've been there a few times just testing midgets and stuff, but never at the Chili Bowl. And it's a week. You definitely gotta do work hard not to get sick, because I'm someone that gets sick very easy, so I had to take a lot of vitamins to make sure I didn't get sick. But no, yeah, it's definitely a fun week, and it's crazy how many people are there, especially not just racing. Like people like you'll come across just like randomly in racing will just be there hanging out, and it's like it's pretty cool. It's kind of like a little like reunion at the same time. But yeah, I definitely want to race it at least once. It looks fun. The track is definitely cowboy up, so I definitely want to try it out.
Because it's basically it's an indoor. Where is it held? I keep forgetting. Is it sort of meant?
Tulsa.
It's like at the Expo Center. It's like the Tulsa Expo Center, and they'll like put it in.
I had Memphis in my head for some reason. I had Tulsa in my head. And it's an indoor sort of dirt track thing, a big, huge arena, and it looks like you might have more fun if you're old enough to drink. That's my takeaway from it. There's a lot of great racing, but the stuff off track looks a bit
Oh yeah, off the track is crazy. You'll definitely see some stuff go down in the chili bowl.
Moonshine.
Rowdies are definitely rowdy.
People with jars with X's on them and stuff, and yeah, they bringing their own drinks in, and I mean, but it does look amazing, and I mean, I'm not sure if whatever you have coming up is going to take you down that route, or but I'm going to be keeping an eye open for it because I love all that kind of the short oval stuff that you've been doing, and I'm intrigued as to what you're going to be up to next. We're going to have to keep an eye on it. Quickly though, Will, you're going over to the States, aren't you, to do Legends stuff?
Yeah, we fly out sort of second week November, so we're taking part in the Legends Road Course World Finals. So I think there's a few UK drivers coming over now, but we're over in Virginia International Raceway. So we don't race Legends we personally don't race Legends on the ovals over in this country. We do all the road course racing. So I think somebody once said to me, Legends are exciting when they just turn left, but they're twice exciting when we turn left and right. So yeah, we fly out there and we're going to see if we can. So I think the last person to win the pro class for the Legends World Series in the UK was back in about 2000. So we're going to try and be the first English driver in 20 years to win the World Finals.
Go for it.
Do it.
Nothing against the local.
You'll get strung up out there if you win anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure what my medical insurance and health insurance is like, but if we win, we'll be getting out of there pretty quick with that trophy.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have nothing against the locals, Lacey, obviously, but we want the Brits to. We're flying the flag.
No, Val, I get it.
What's crazy is the team we're hiring the car from. They say, yeah, it's not that far from us. It's not too far, the circuit. Well, they're Maine, New Hampshire area, and the race is Virginia, and it's a 1,400-mile journey.
Yeah.
And it's like we complain about coming from Camberley, which is London area, up to Knockhill, and they're doing that 3 times effectively.
Yeah, I mean, you're not far from me. Obviously, we caught up for a coffee a few weeks ago, and
yeah.
I think Jerry, you're down West Country way, aren't you?
Now, but I lived in Camberley for a lot of my childhood.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Up the Portersbury Road.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well,
I don't know where you are, but I
could just see Lacey going, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Camberley in Surrey, yeah.
But obviously from where we are, the 3 of us, we have 2 more joining. My goodness me, this is all very good. Oh, we've got another legend, and we've got a mini champion. We'll bring you in just a second, chaps. Obviously from where we are up to Knockhill in Scotland is what, 300 miles, 350 maybe.
I think it's about 450.
450, is it? Well, I see. It depends how fast you drive, Will.
In our lorry, not very fast.
No, true. You got a big lorry, and as you say, I mean, we find that a long way. It's like, it's a long way to Knockhill. Obviously, with Lacey, she's still in the same state. I think we spoke again, Lacey. I think you were racing somewhere out in the Midwest, and you said, yeah, we just went there and back, and we were there for like 2 or 3 days, and it's like 1,000 miles or more. Which to us in the UK, if you go 1,000 miles from anywhere in the UK, you're not in the UK anymore.
No, true enough.
No, crazy
big
stuff.
mileages.
Crazy stuff. Right, I'm going to see how many people we can get on this screen here, because we've got 5 of us, and I'm very grateful to you all for tuning in, which is amazing. I sent out a load of messages, and more people have tuned in than I thought, because I thought no one's going to come and talk to me again. Okay, who have we got? We're going to bring in 2 people at the same time here. One, mini challenge UK racer, Dom Wheatley. Hello, Dom.
Hello. Can I squeeze in?
Yeah, I can squeeze in.
Can everybody move out of it?
Breathe in. If everyone can just slide, scooch. And we have one more guy coming in who is another legend in my book, one of my favourite drivers. He raced in Formula 1 and he's raced in IndyCar, and his son now races in IndyCar, and he's survived being smashed to bits in an accident, which is always lovely that he's come back from. So we're going to bring him in as well. Derek Daly.
Oh,
hello, Derek.
Hey, happy birthday.
Hey.
Happy
Derek
birthday.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, Richard, good to talk to you again.
Yes, it's been a few months, hasn't it? I think we spoke earlier at the start of the year, didn't we? I can't remember exactly when it was. March kind of time, I think. Because I remember I spoke with.
It was obviously memorable. You can't remember anything about it.
That didn't come out right, did it? I didn't mean that. But no, I mean, obviously it was great. I mean, we had a good old long chat, didn't we? And when you put me in touch with Connor, which was lovely. But I've just seen a comment from Oliver Tyler saying, "Good Lord, man, this keeps getting better and better." I must admit, I am actually staggered. I've stepped back to kind of 10, 12-year-old me, and with this evening, and I'm thinking, what the holy hell is going on this evening? Because obviously, we've got all you guys on here. We've had Emanuele Pirro's jumped on earlier, and so yeah, thank you very much, everyone. I really don't know what to say. Thank you for everyone for coming on. I don't know where we can start. I don't know who wants to jump.
Well, listen, in? let me start.
Derek, you go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to come on and say happy birthday. We've become friends. I mean, we interact now on social media, but I have to say, the podcasts that are now done by people like yourself, Richard, what people don't understand is it preserves so much history of the sport. Because who would we get to chat with if there wasn't people like you that had an interest in, hey, what happened way back when? So I think the real big advantage, certainly for people of my era, is that people like you have the interest to do these podcasts and these live streams that essentially allows us to relive the great times and gives us a platform to storytell on what it was like way back when then. So happy birthday. And thank you from our side. Am I the furthest away? I'm in Indianapolis right now. Am I the furthest away?
I think you've outdone Lacey, the young lady. On the camera where I am, Lacey's just down here. You're in North Carolina, aren't you, Lacey?
Yeah, I'm in Mooresville. I used to live out in Noblesville, but now I'm back in Mooresville. So.
Wow. Okay. My youngest son just bought a house in Noblesville. We spent the last 4 days moving all his shit up to his new gaff.
Oh wow, yeah, Noblesville's nice. I never been outside North Carolina. I grew up in North Carolina my whole life until I had that midget deal last year, and it's crazy. It's super nice out there. I loved it. I want to go back.
It is beautiful. I moved there in 1983. All my boys were born and raised in Noblesville. So were you out with Clausen's? Because they're in Noblesville.
No, I raced with Abacus Racing for about 6 races last year. Their shop is a little bit, I think, outside of Noblesville.
Okay, great.
It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it's pretty close to Noblesville.
Great, good. Well, Mooresville is the heart of the action in America, really. I mean, in IndyCars in Indianapolis, but Mooresville and everything that happens down there is huge.
Yeah, for sure.
I just find it amazing that Derek and Lacey, obviously your paths have almost crossed in the same town of Noblesville. But just here next to me is Kales, who is from the Emerald Isle, and you can probably tell Derek is as well. So obviously Derek's son Connor is he's been doing IndyCar this year, and he's back in next year as well, which is awesome. I forget, Derek, whereabouts on the Emerald Isle were you from originally? I've completely forgotten.
Dublin City.
You're from Dublin City because Kales, you're from south, aren't you?
I've heard a lot about you, Derek. I'm in Cork, down south.
Great. Good. I love it.
Yeah. So Kales is doing you've been doing F1000, haven't you? And you're sort of looking to move up, which is cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I'm in the F1000 series in the UK, but I race in Mondello Park with the Formula Boss series in Ireland. Get an extra bit of seat time, obviously, because it's hard to travel back and forth to the UK all the time. But yeah, I'm hoping to move up, but obviously, you know yourself, motorsport is tough when it comes to budget and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll see.
However, F1000 best sounding racing car next to the old V10 Formula One cars.
Yeah, I have
Yeah,
the R1 bike engine in mind, the Yamaha.
Oh yeah,
Whereas
yeah,
most of the grid run the Suzukis, but they always say that the Yamaha does outdo the sound on the straights and stuff. So
yeah. Great, good stuff.
It's very cool. I've just seen a comment in the comment section from my mate Oliver, and he said, "Does anyone else find themselves beaming with smiles while watching this?" I am. I'm sitting here thinking, "What the heck is happening in my life right now?" Because
I think we've got Derek. You raced predominantly in the 70s, didn't you? I think was your sort of era.
Formula 1, 70,
Yeah.
77, F3, 78,
Yeah.
F2 and F1 to 82. And at the end of 82, the Williams year, I went to America, really just for curiosity. I was curious about the Indianapolis 500. I thought it would be pretty cool to race in that. I mean, everything about it, the speed, etc. I went there just for curiosity as a rookie in 83 and never left. Never left. Life just happened from there, and I'm still here.
You kept your accent well.
Good, great. Yeah, it's not that easy to do it. I mean, I've been here now more. I've been in America longer than I was ever in Ireland or England.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So you have to make sure you try and keep it.
Have you tried working? Have you tried working on Connor with the accent? Have you tried to?
Oh no, he's very American.
He's
loves his Irish roots, but definitely very American.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. I mean, so I do need to bring in Dom as well. Dom is way over on the other side of the screen to me, down there. Dom, obviously racing in the Mini Challenge UK, and you've donated a signed photo and a poster to this giveaway, which is lovely. Have you dried out from Brands and Silverstone? It was a bit soggy, wasn't it?
Brands was fine right up until that last race on Sunday, and then chaos. Just about dried out.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously the season ended well for you. You know, you took second in that last race, which is great. Perhaps could have, should have had a win in the penultimate one.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm ready to talk about that. It's still too raw. Yeah. We were talking about on the way home. The championship this year has limited the amount of slicks we can run, to try and kind of keep it under, keep the budgets down. And I realized we were driving home. I'm the only driver this year to complete every lap of racing. Everyone else has had DNFs, and
wow.
In fact, one of my teammates, we get 4 slicks for a round. Nathan Edwards turned up with 9 because he carried over so many from previous rounds. Yeah, so he was tire rich. We're all very jealous, but it meant I went out. I was kind of scratching around for anything that was black and round by the end of the season, by that last race. So yeah, we put a tire on that really didn't have any tread left on it, and didn't fancy going around corners much. But I was really glad when I saw the heavens open for that last race, because I actually had wets. So
and I guess if it hadn't, you'd have been running on the rims. You'd have been.
Yeah, that would have been it. Yeah.
Because it was like Surtees, wasn't it? And as you said afterwards, you said the back just stepped out, and then you dropped back. But
anyway, it's good to hear Dom didn't lose his Irish accent. Just kidding.
Again, I can see Lacey's going, I don't know what you're talking about. You've got an Irish accent, we've got the Geordie accent, and I don't know what mine is, but it's all good. Sorry, guys, I'm going to have a quick beer here.
I don't have a cool story about popping over to America to just have a go at the Indy 500, just have a bash at that. So
not yet.
The northeast of England, stayed in the northeast of England.
Yeah,
keep it simple, eh?
Well, the Indy 500, Croft, it's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
they get confused all the time.
Cadwell Park. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Derek, did you know Tommy Byrne?
Oh, very well. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's kind of your era, and he's lives out there as well, doesn't he, Tommy?
Yeah,
I
he does.
think?
He lives in Florida. So Tommy,
Yeah.
I didn't know Tommy when I was in Ireland. I left Ireland in '76. Tommy started Formula Ford, I think in '76 or '7. I was already gone. I didn't see him in F3. I only came across him really in Formula One. When I went to Williams, he got into the Theodore, from what I remember, and then I met him more often in America than I did in Ireland or England. Yeah, I see him. I mean, I don't see him regularly, but I see him quite often. He's in good form. He's in great shape. Yeah.
Yeah, he was on here with Rich, I think, recently, wasn't he?
Yeah, he came on. I don't know if it was earlier this year or late last year. I think it was. I honestly spoke to so many amazing people, and I never thought this would be an issue in my brain. Speaking to, XF1 drivers and not remembering exactly when it happened. I've got a list here, but yeah, Tommy, I actually sent him. I actually sent him the link to this evening, and he hasn't come back to me, so he's probably busy. But yeah, he's a real story of.
Oh yeah,
isn't he? He was a terrific driver.
Yeah. I mean, there are people, I don't know, there are people who genuinely believe the book and genuinely think, he is the one that got away. I mean, he was his own worst enemy. I've told him that many times.
Yeah.
And
he said it himself as well.
And he hasn't changed a bit. But he's a great storyline.
Yeah, I mean, he actually said, he laid it all quite bare when he came on here for a chat, and he, and he just said, if I'd have been a bit nicer and if I'd have towed the line a bit and been a yes man and done what McLaren asked me to, and yes and no and thank you and all that, he says maybe I could have done it, but he basically said, "Oh, stuff that. That isn't me. I'm not doing that."
He'd have never fitted into Ron's camp. That's for sure.
No,
not the wrong
yeah. Tommy proved that drinking all night out with hookers isn't good preparation for a Formula One test.
Yeah. It was always good preparation for a touring car race as well.
Is that where I'm going wrong?
No.
Dom, don't let Nicky hear that. Don't let Nicky.
That's just over there. Yeah.
Hello, Nicky. Hi. Well, that escalated.
Yeah.
Goodness me. That's
what about Martin Donnelly? He's a bit after you, I suppose. Is he, Martin?
Yeah, Martin was after me too.
Yeah.
And only got to know him. I really only got to know him after his accident.
Sure. Yeah.
We never really tripped over each other. I was gone from F1 when he was in it. I don't know whether he ever raced in America. I mean, other than F1. And then I would see him at Goodwood. That was the main place that I saw him. Yeah. Martin's a great guy. Really, really great guy.
He is. Yeah. I got to know him quite well in the early 2000s through racing, but I wasn't racing then. But
he was in Lotus, wasn't he?
We were both involved with Lotus at that time. And, he's a real nice guy and very, very lucky. What happened to him is that terrible crash he had.
What was amazing though with Martin, I had Martin on again. He's been on.
Sure.
I bumped into him at the Autosport show last year, and he very graciously came on. And I said to him, I said, "Look, are you happy to talk about what happened at Jerez?" And he said, "I will talk about it till the cows come home." Because I put a post up on the page, an article about the accident on this day, and didn't use all the photos because no one needs to see that. And someone gave it me in the ear saying, "Oh, poor Martin having to relive this. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't post this. You shouldn't, etc., etc." And I basically politely told him to shut up, basically, because I'd already got permission from Martin. I said, "Look, Martin, are you happy for me to do this?" And he said, "I'm more than happy to. You can post about it every day if you like, because I see that as my second birthday." Yeah, he says he like celebrates it. He celebrates that day because he said, I should have died in that crash at Jerez, and we all saw what happened with his leg and everything else. Yeah. And he said, now I celebrate it and I try and make an event of it. And if I can get abroad where there's some sun, then I go and do that. And I just think that's a fantastic way to look at it, isn't it?
Yeah. I've never asked him about it. Does he remember the accident?
He says he remembers He said he remembers it was the right-hander at the back of the pits, the fast right-hander, before the kind of right and then the hairpin at the left. And he said he remembers going in. He said he remembers the front right feeling a bit loose.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the bell cranks was broke, and he hit the curb. And he said he said he remembers turning in, and that's it.
Yeah, see, that's same with me. I don't remember my accident. I remember it starting, and then it just went blank. And mine was the same as Martin's. Mine was the hardest crash impact a driver had ever survived until that time.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a birthday too that it happened. But I always thought I'd remember it someday. You know, God gives you this little ability to hide destructive events like that. But I always thought one day I would remember it, but I have no memory of it. I just a memory of losing control, and that's it.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. I mean, obviously we've seen again, like yours with Martin, the images of it, and someone actually said, "Is there any footage of it?" And I went,
"No."
Why? Why on earth would you want to see? You know, I don't want to see what happened to you, Derek, or what happened to Martin. I mean, I guess it might help to explain what happened, but you know, Martin, obviously his leg was badly twisted round and he had brain thing and lungs and all, you know, bruising. And your legs were sticking out the front of the car, wouldn't they, Derek? And I don't know why anyone would want to see that. I don't.
But anyway, but anyway, to finish the story is at that time, speeds increased greatly at that time, but car development didn't. Since then, they now have the safest racing cars ever developed for drivers. I mean, the carbon fiber that they have now, and all the lessons they learned from cars braking, and particularly in IndyCar, they scrutinize accidents more than any other series in the world. And they've ended up creating, I mean, the safest. I mean, racing is risky, but these things are by far the safest projectiles you could possibly race today. So there's some good came from all the information from those accidents right back to myself and Martin Donnelly.
I think years ago, all forms of motorsport were dangerous because we used to have people killed in touring cars, you know, and people don't realise that. Keith O'Donnell was killed. He's a good friend of mine. Ian Taylor was in a Rover at Spa. He was killed. Roland Ratzenberger wasn't killed in a touring car, but he raced in touring cars alongside us in the 80s. And very good driver he was too.
There was Dave Brody had an escape, didn't he, at Silverstone?
Yeah, I mean,
he smashed himself to bits.
Tim Harvey moved out of single-seaters into saloons because he smashed all his ankles up in a Formula 4 in '86. So I think all motorsport was more dangerous, but I think that was reflected how people drove as well. I'm not going to get controversial now, but certainly I never raced really in single-seaters at all. But when you talk to some of the older single-seater drivers who we all know, you know, they all say you couldn't take the liberties then that people perhaps take now, you know, because you'd end up killing someone or yourself because the cars
are that's a good point.
dangerous, you know.
You're right.
And, it's, I suppose, the fact it's safer has got to be better in the long run, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's still people that have the old mindset of, oh, you know, we don't need runoff areas. We should have grab. We should have this. We should have that. It was better back when, you know. And you think that's the ultimate rose-tinted specs moment, isn't it? You think, oh, it was better when I was a kid. It's better when we raced. It was better. We think, but people were getting killed, you know, regularly. I mean, obviously, like Derek and Jerry, like when you guys were growing up, you would remember. Well, and you raced in the 70s, Derek, and with where there was like Francois Savert was lost and Helmut Koenig and all these other guys, and like Ronnie and Joe Siffert and all these guys. You know, there was that book by David Tremaine, was it The Lost Generation? And that is a book that only ever needs one volume, isn't it? That doesn't need any, you know, and that's where the safety has come in now, isn't it? It's so much safer. Because we're talking about a single seat, and I don't want to put Kale's off because she's in F1000, and I don't. So yeah, but yes, it's certainly come a long way, isn't it?
Hey guys, I have to go. I apologize.
No, Derek, it's
I
no.
could
Thank
chat
you so
here,
much.
but
No,
I just wanted to make sure I did come on and say happy birthday. Keep up the good work, Kales. Keep
Nice
up the
to
good
see you,
work.
Derek.
Everybody else. It's easy to give up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's not as easy to keep going, but if you want something, you have to, don't you? So.
All right, and Dom, keep up that Irish accent.
Yeah, I'll keep practicing.
All right.
All right.
See you.
See you later.
Derek, really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
Well,
Yeah,
cool.
interesting.
This is nuts. Sorry, I mean, I keep coming back to making this about me, and I don't mean to, because I grew up. I remember one of my earliest sort of memories of a shunt was highlights of Derek going backside over front end at Monaco.
Yeah.
I remember watching Jerry when I was 7. Sorry, Jerry. I've had Emmanuel Perrault on, who I remember seeing it like Le Mans and in F1 in the late 80s and early 90s. And now I'm just sort of sitting here talking with everyone. You guys that I watch every week, and I'm sitting here having a laugh and a joke with you, and I think this is ridiculous. This is just a hobby that I started, and now here you all are. So it's wonderful. Thank you very much, everyone.
It's interesting the girls that are on here, because we didn't actually. I say we didn't have women. I actually, when I was racing in the Ford truck team, we did have a lady in the team, a lady called Davina Galitza.
I was going to say, was it Davina? Yeah.
Yeah, she was ex-Formula One and a downhill skier, I think. And she was quick as well. But there's a lot more girls, ladies in the sport now, and a lot more opportunities, I think, as well.
Yeah.
And quite a few of you do karting, don't you, girls?
Yeah, no, there definitely is more like
Yeah.
it's coming arise now. I think ever since like the W series and stuff like that, and like F1 Academy and all that has been brought in. It's definitely giving girls an open path to try and go for them opportunities and kind of make a career and a bigger name for themselves. Especially in the karting, you have many opportunities in the karting for young girls as well. So I think it's been broadened a lot, which is good, obviously. But yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah, no, it's good to see. As I say, years ago it just didn't happen. You had one or two, but
Are there any ever like women back in the day when you were in your touring car era? Like, did you ever hear of any racing?
Well, we had a lady called Barbara Cowell who used to compete in saloon cars. I think she had a Suzuki and she had an M3. She never came into touring cars, but she was in something they used to call Group N, which was like a production series. But I think she was the only one, as I remember, in the 80s.
Well, I did see a comment, I think from Vitolda Marozewska in the comments section. Yeah. It's just flagged up in my mind while we're on the subject. She said, didn't you race against Netton Lindgren?
Oh, yes.
She raced.
I forgot about Netton, yeah.
He got taken out by Jonathan Palmer at Snetterton.
Palmer at Snetterton, yeah, and got out and gave him hell, yeah.
I actually asked Nettan if she would come on here, and she said, I'd love to, because I watch a lot of them, but my English isn't very good. And I said, well, neither's mine.
Yeah, when I was racing an M3, she beat me in her M3.
Right.
Yeah, I was sulking for about 3 weeks afterwards. I remember.
Well, that's kind of good to hear.
She was very fast, very fast.
I think, throughout history, the girls have been kicking blokes' backsides, which is a good thing.
Yeah, and of course, I've forgotten she was in rallying, but was very fast. There was a lady called Michelle Mouton who raced the Audi Quattros, which you guys may not remember early. They were the first four-wheel drive Audis.
They were monumental, weren't they? They were unbelievable, those things.
They came into world rallying, and she was a French lady who kicked the arse of everyone, the legend rally drivers. with Walter Roll, wasn't it? He was in the other one.
Walker Roll, yeah.
Yeah, who's another legend.
Because there is I don't know if folk have seen it on like Netflix or wherever it's available. There's a documentary about Michelle Mouton called Queen of Speed, and it is unbelievable. It's she basically, because at that time, as we said back in the 80s, there weren't that many female racers in any series, and she basically just came in and just wiped the floor with people in rallying. She just went out there, which was amazing.
Do you girls, do you feel you're taken seriously with what you do in the States? I mean, you're from down North Carolina, is it you're from?
Yeah, I'm from North Carolina, and it's definitely interesting. There's a lot more women racing now, and that's a great thing. It's good to see other girls succeed in a sport that they love and stuff. But I feel like you definitely have to prove like you're not just there to be there. You have to prove like you don't suck pretty much. So I think once you prove like you can do it and you're not just there, you're respected and well received in the sport.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing, isn't it? There's some, there's a lot of male drivers, and I'm not going to name any of them because I'd like them to come on here for a chat, and I don't want to piss them off. Where they let their mouths they want their mouths to do the talking, and they can't back it up on track. And as you said, Lacey, you girls, you're kind of almost don't have that luxury of being able to shoot your mouth off because you might get shut down. Yeah, you say no. What are you talking about? Which is absolutely wrong. But when you can go out on track and beat people, it kind of keeps them quiet, doesn't it? It's the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. It's definitely interesting, especially with that, because like you can talk all day, you're going to be great, but you got to prove you can actually do it. So I think once you can prove your worth, you're well received.
Yeah, you've got to do the times. If you do the times, you'll be there.
Yeah,
and there's no hiding now with all this telemetry and stuff. We never had any of that stuff.
Yeah,
they banned telemetry in Legends, so we're not allowed any data logging. We don't even have lap timers in the cars.
No,
it makes it hard, really hard.
How I used to race, it was, you knew your lap time when you went past the pit board, the one you'd done before, sort of thing.
Yeah.
We had a radio. In fairness, we had radios, but they never worked very well. But
I can't imagine how, with racing now, we all go out and, as I was about to say, we all do well, maybe not in Legends, but I think in all the other classes we go out there with, our live deltas out there. So we're going around on quali laps. You get halfway around the lap and you go, actually, I'm backing off on this one. This hasn't gone right.
Yeah.
I can't imagine just bashing around going, yeah, that one felt better. Yeah. To then come round the next lap to go, was it good enough? What's going on?
You were still fighting.
I'm an engineer as well as a driver, and I love the days. I can't imagine the racing where you just none of that.
No, well, it was, you knew if you were going quicker. Don't ask me how, but you just did, and particularly with the RS 500s, because they were so susceptible to tire wear, you would be. Yeah. You'd give up on the lap rather than destroy the tires, and particularly if we used to run qualifiers then, and they were definitely only one lap, and round somewhere at Thruxton, they wouldn't even do a lap, so it was interesting. That came on board, all that data logging and stuff, more or less as I got out. But now you're in minis, I think, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, I was kind of a chap called Rob Gravitt is my era. He's a very good friend of mine, and his son. And his son was doing minis, as you know, the challenge, and then went into JCW, I think it was. Yeah. And obviously, I mean, I've known.
Dom, you're in JCW. Dom, you were Brad's teammate until the last
at the start of the season.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was telling me he does hundreds of laps on his simulator at home before he goes to the circuit.
Yeah.
which I can't get my head around at all, because I'm not the generation of electronics.
Yeah, I guess it is, everyone's used to their kind of
sure.
their thing, right? But like you said, in the JCW now we get 40 channels of data. And you spend 20 minutes out on track, and then you spend an hour and a half going through it all again and again and again in different.
And you get to look
ways.
at everyone else's data, don't you, as well?
Yeah, overlay with everyone else in the scene. Yeah.
Amazing.
So no hiding either. You can't, you go, oh yeah, no, there's a mistake there, but that was because there was traffic or this or that. No, hang on, we can see in the data that was all you. And, no hiding.
Yeah, at least we could lie.
I think the data really does help though, because like for the first 2 years of me and being in the single series, me and my dad, we were privateers. We just kind of ran ourselves. My dad's still my mechanic, but this year we went with a team, the factory team in F1000, and then that's when I started doing data. But the first 2 years in F1000, it was just kind of go out, no lap timer on, and just try and get quicker and quicker every lap. But with the data now, like I go out and I come straight in and I'm like, where's the laptop? Where can I be quicker? Because the team are there to supply it. But before that, I wouldn't have known. So I just kind of went out and done my thing. But it definitely does improve you as a driver. And
I'm sure,
just takes that guesswork out of it, like you say, of kind of trying to look and going. It's definitely in sector 3. So if I just try different corners in all those, sector, it's and talking about independence and women in motorsport, it's raced with Lydia Walmsley the last couple of years, and she runs as a family run team, and there's just her. And I always think it's amazing because the amount of data you get off the JCWs and how valuable it is to run by yourself must be really challenging. So I've always admired that she's able to kind of come in and find time and make those improvements without kind of, I had the benefit this year of kind of just going, well, what's Dan Zelos doing? He's 3-time champion. Let me just see what he's doing on his lap, and I'll just do that. Oh, great. There we go. There's the time. So to do it blind is, much harder.
Yeah, me and my dad do I done karting for years, and then I went to obviously the single seaters, but myself and my dad would just kind of do guesswork and kind of learn off the teams as such. But it was a nice feeling to go up against the huge teams, especially in karting, because you all know how much money goes into karting nowadays. It's probably just as expensive as cars. But it was definitely a good feeling to go up and kind of be beating the teams that are have that valuable data, or have them 4 engines in the back where 2-3 tenths each lap. But no, it's cool. It's obviously a lot harder, but and takes a lot more time than being with a team. But I think it's it'll stick with you. It's kind of a credit.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just going to give Dom a quick prop here, because obviously we're doing this fundraiser for Race Against Dementia. We've got loads of prizes, and Dom has donated one of his. Well, I say donated. He signed it. I printed it. I did all the money. I did the printing. But anyway, there's Dom's. That's Dom's signed photo. At Knock Hill, you can win that. So that's very cool. And you mentioned Lydia Walmsley. That's Lydia's car. We like Lydia. She's cool. Bradley Gravitt's in there as well. His old one. Give him up. So but the Mini is absolutely fantastic. I mean, one of the mainstays of the touring car package. But it's just interesting hearing Dom saying that he'd like to go back and sort of try it in Jerry's era, where it was just you got to feel whether it was quick or not, which is cool. That would be a cool thing to see. We'll have to try and get somebody with a spare RS 500 knocking around.
It happens every now and again in the Mini when your GPS doesn't pick up and you just lap round and you go, why is my data logger not working? But it's disorientating.
But you get
come and try Legends then, where the only way we know we're going quick is when you're going forwards through the grid, and if you're going slow, you're going backwards.
I've driven a Legend once at Knock Hill for 10 laps, and that was wild. And I thought that was such a thrill. I'd love to do that. And then I realised, I can't remember where it was, the next round, and Legends were racing, and it was teeming down. It was pouring with rain, and everyone was getting soaking wet. And I went, maybe I don't want to go to a Legend actually. Quite like having windows and being dry in my car.
you know, we've raced in at Alton Park when the Beast from the East hit a few years ago in the snow, and I've never been so cold in my life in a Legend. Snow coming through the windscreen. Well, there is no windscreen. Snow coming through the hole in the front, and yeah, it's you're a bit exposed. And then the problem in the summer, the thing's like a furnace because the engine makes the chassis rails so hot, and you sit on the chassis rails. So yeah, you can't win.
You can't win. I'm just thinking, we're talking about racing in the rain and the snow. I'm guessing, Lacey, that's nothing you've really had to deal with. I guess rain, but you don't get too much snow in North Carolina, do you?
I don't think it's snowed in like 4 years, maybe. It's been years.
Would you get out in the car? Would you go and do a bit of oval dirt racing in the snow? I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
That would be sketchy. I remember one time I raced the outlaw kart. So this was like not even like a big car or nothing. And it had not snowed, but we get a lot of ice here, which is like kind of surprising, but it had like freezing rain, that kind of deal. And that had happened a few days prior, and we went and raced on Saturday, and it had gotten in the dirt, and like it looked fine, but it had like seeped underneath it, and it was, oh my god,
wow!
Sketch.
It was
so yeah,
on top.
Dirt, ice, snow, water, not fun on dirt.
No.
I mean, the water, but not like the second it's wet, it's like ice skating, and it's sketchy. You don't want to do it.
Wow. See, like these guys, yeah, I mean, obviously you're better than I ever will be at racing, but you're saying, oh, it's a bit wet, it's a bit cold. At least you're on tarmac. You've got tarmac, guys. You're okay. You're safe.
You've seen Legends race. We're hardly ever on the tarmac. We're not in the gravel and grass everywhere.
I mean, you're kind of not always on four wheels. You're not always on two wheels sometimes.
Yeah, it's yeah, I think we have a reputation for being action-packed and causing chaos and cutting corners and mainly causing issues, dumping oil on the track. Yeah, I don't think we were particularly liked in Touring Car Field last year for dumping lots of oil on the track and making it like an ice rink. So
lovely. Is it non-contact, Legends, or are you allowed to nudge?
We're the only UK series that's allowed to bump draft. So we're the only series that's allowed to hit one another on the straights. Sometimes it's more gentle than others. There's a lovely Irish chap that decided to rearrange my rear chassis rails, pushing me at Brands. But to be fair, Jamie was making me go faster, so I was quite happy with it. But those bump drafts, he must have been going 10, 50 miles an hour faster than me when he was hitting me. They hurt the next day.
Because a lot of those Legends guys were, well, I don't know about now, but years ago they were from a sort of hot rod stock car background, you know, so they like to push and
that's the kind of the field. So when we started nearly 10 years ago, it was probably 50% were ex-stock car drivers and a few had come up through karting. The cars, especially in this country, they're slightly different from what they are in America, but they've now got so much grip. They're way more like driving a go-kart. So all the guys that have come up from karting just instantly jumped straight to the front now. So, you know, we have people like Tyler Reid that used to race European karts, and, you know, he runs right at the front in it. And with no data, no telemetry, is winning races in his second year, and he is rapid. But yeah, they are just like they're basically like a gearbox go-kart, but with a bumper for hitting one another, and not quite as fast. But yeah, the tyres have made such a difference now. We're massively under braked. You know, we still run drum brakes on the back. Our brake pads on the front, the actual pad's smaller than the palm of my hand. So with that much grip, we're mainly certainly for me, we're brake managing, and I think how people have changed. So we now left foot brake in the cars, or most of the quick guys do. Most people don't use the clutch anymore. They're much more suited to the old karting guys than the bang. I was going to call them bangers, but they probably call themselves stock car drivers.
Yeah, sure.
But in Legends, you also obviously there's no qualifying. There's just a front, middle, and back. Again, quite like karting. Oh, that's how I remember karting.
Yeah.
Because turning up to a clubby and finding out your first race in the damn conditions is from the back. But,
yeah. So we do the balloted grid. So we pick our first race. We pick a ball out the hat that determines our starting position for the first race. It's then the reverse of that for the second race, and then our finals are actually the reverse of the finishing order. So if you win both races, you start last. If you DNF in both, you'll start towards the front. So some of the races, like we had at Brands Hatch supporting the touring cars, I think I started the final in 26th place. I managed to drive through the field to get the win, and I only led the last 6 foot of the race. I didn't lead any more than that. So,
Impressive.
you
That
know
was an
how
awesome
well.
one. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was good fun. I mean, it's probably my favourite win I've ever had by quite a bit. But they've done it for so many years now. They know how long, and the drivers, we all kind of say how long the finals need to be for the quick drivers to be able to get to the front, and they're good at listening to us with that. You know, Knockhill we struggle with a little bit because we're not allowed to bump draft because of Scottish laws. They make us race under Scottish law rather than English law, which says if we have an incident and we're deliberately pushing somebody, then we may be liable for it. So it's a lot harder, and it's a completely different mentality to try and race when you're not bump drafting, when you're just used to driving through the guy in front of you. And, you know, especially at Knockhill where you got the 2 straights with the hairpin, we would just push people up to the hairpin, nip past them, and then you would expect to get a push back down the back straight. But without having that, it's quite hard work to work out when to overtake and when not to.
Sure.
Wow.
I think, you know, the saying coming back through the grid from 26th, obviously I know that's reverse grid. So, you know, there's definitely going to be guys in front of you that are slower that you know you're kind of confident you'll overtake. But I'd say the best races I can remember of my own racing are the ones not where you start on pole and you kind of manage a race from the front and you're still there to win at the end, but it's the ones where something goes wrong or you end up at the back for whatever reason and you drive through and you get a great result. There's just something extra special about that because you're kind of on that back foot, and I don't know if it's the British mentality that you're like the underdog then or what, but I love them races. I think they're the best ones. The only races I can remember from karting are the ones where that happened to me, you know, starting from the back and then kind of nipping through at the end to get a podium or a win or something, and they're the ones that you remember.
Okay. It kind of feels like you've earned it, I guess. I mean, I'm just actually just on that, you know, obviously, you know, you've all raced different areas and stuff. I mean, obviously, Dom, you prefer the ones where you kind of earn it from the back, and I guess Will's the same. Well, what about you, Kales and Lacey and Jerry? I mean, what sort of, I mean, did you enjoy the ones where you could, if it's happened, could you get out in front and just go, or did you ever think, what's going on behind me? What are they getting closer? I mean, do you prefer to, basically what I'm saying is, do you prefer to like lead the race and just go and hope, you know, and just keep everyone behind you, or do you prefer the kind of elbows out and try and make your way through?
I definitely prefer what Dom and Will prefer, like just working for it more than, you know, starting off pole or starting off second and kind of running away with it. It's not really, you haven't really achieved anything. You've just kind of started finished where you started, really. I prefer to start from the back or mid pack, not so much too far to the back because there's always a bit of carnage back there, but probably mid pack was where I'd prefer to be, rather than just running away, because realistically anyone that starts from pole, unless you're extremely quick and pumping a lap, like a good lap every lap, it's really hard to lead a race. You know, normally anyone in second would probably, you know, jump the gun in the last few laps, but from starting from pole to leading and winning, it's probably the harder than starting mid pack and coming through. So
okay, that's cool. Okay, I mean, I get this even when I go karting with my mates. I mean, I'm not a racer, but I mean, you know, I'm competitive with myself, but I'm not a racer by any stretch of the imagination. And I am always, even when I'm just doing it for fun, I always think, where are they? Are they behind me? Are they? I've kind of got that mentality of like looking over my shoulder, and that's probably why I've never made it anywhere near being a racing driver. I mean, I don't know about you, Lacey or Jerry. I mean, do you prefer to be out front and keeping people behind, or would you like to have someone to chase and kick the backside off?
I kind of like the chase.
Ladies first.
Okay, yeah. I gotta say, I kind of like the chase. Like the chase is really fun, especially when you start last and you're able to pass. Cause you're like put a whooping on them, so it's pretty fun. I mean, also it's pretty fun to dominate. Like I've had races where like I went out, started like got the pole, won my heat race, won the race by like a lot. Those also are kind of fun, just because it's like dang, like here we are. But yeah, but I do prefer the ones where you do like have to pass people, because even at the end of the day, if you don't end up winning it and you still go from like 10th to 2nd, that still shows that you have more general speed than a lot of them. So it just kind of keeps you pushing, keeps you working, and it helps you develop your like racecraft every race, instead of just kind of like hey girl, like we're winning again. So
yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, there's a theme emerging here, isn't there? People, you all like passing people, and I mean, you just said put the whooping on them. I mean, Brits can't get away with that. We can't get away with saying that. That doesn't sound cool when we say it. It just sounds terrible.
I don't sound cool when I say, I'm gonna be honest.
You've outdone me.
I had a bit of a different experience, because I'm going to show you a picture now, which I think you might be able to see. That was the front cover of Autosport in 1987, and that's me with Tim Harvey behind me in his Sierra Cosworth. But that was only my second race, and I finished second in my first race. But what really wound the other drivers up was I had a black cross on the back of my car for five races, and I was second, third, or one in all of them. So much so that they printed that magazine. Tim Harvey was a bit younger than me, 2 or 3 years younger, but he was the up and coming, he was the up and coming kid. And as we know, he went on and had a really good career. That year, that was in a Group N car, but Tim was also doing touring cars in a Rover, and he was absolutely beside himself that this guy from Spain who'd never raced anything come over and dare to beat him and lead him in a race with a bloody cross on his back, on the back of the car, because I had to have that for 5 races. Everyone does. That for me was
the rookie cross.
Yeah, until you get 5 signatures. I don't know if it's still the same now, but then
pretty much
it was. And I think in the September of that first year I raced, I got a ride in the World Touring Car Series in a Holden V8 at the Silverstone TT, subject to testing it, because they were 3 driver races then, and the races were about 3 or 4 hours, and I had to test this Holden, and I caused, and I'm not bragging here, but I went quicker than the 2 Belgian drivers who were normally in the car, although I was only going this one race. And I got more satisfaction out of that than, being the novice who should be. And in fact, I made myself very unpopular. And then when I went on the next year to win my first touring car race, and that BBC coverage I got, that really pissed everyone off. It really seriously did. It was so that for me was always a good thing. The underdog thing. I used to like being the underdog.
I think it's a good thing. Just on that, I think if you can piss people off by being better than them rather than any other reason, if you can annoy people by beating them, that's just the best way to get ahead, isn't it? I mean, like whatever you do, don't give it the big I am with the talking or anything like that. Just go out and do your thing, beat them, and then they go, well, they've got no answer, have they?
Well, of course, the other thing was people used to say, because the RS 500 touring car was a massively heavy car to drive, no power steering, they were always, you know, opposite lock and things like that. And people used to say, oh, well, you're obviously always in the gym and everything. I said, no, I never go in the gym. Nothing like that. And I get pissed most nights, you know, and stuff like that. But what people didn't realize, because my business was in Spain at that time, and I used to commute backwards and forwards, was I used to water ski about 3 times a week. And of course, that makes your arms and shoulders immensely strong. So, whereas all these other drivers were sort of having to be pulled out of these cars exhausted, I was quite strong, you know, and
you were getting out of the car in the wetsuit.
I could have been, yeah.
No, that would have been a cool thing to see. That should have been a thing.
That never happened, no.
Oh, dear.
But I mean, you know, we had a lot of fun then, you know, in those years. Nothing like it is now. I mean, it was very corporate and it was big money, you know, and you had to get the job done, because even in '88, my budget for my touring car was, I don't know, about 300 grand, I think.
Wow.
You know, and which is a lot of money. Then you're talking, what, nearly 40 years ago. And I think in '89 we had more than that. We had up towards 300,000 or 400,000, and we didn't have enough, because we were blowing engines up 15 grand each, you know, which was a fortune then. It's something like £40,000 now for an engine, you know. Wow. So it was a lot of money. Yeah. And tyres, and you were racing against works teams, you know, Texaco Sierras and BMW and people.
Yeah, with all like the Eggenberger guys and
yeah.
Now, just quickly, I mean, I'm just flying by tonight. I don't give a monkeys. It's my Paige's birthday. I'm going to sit here and talk all night. Just, I mean, you mentioned money there. Now, I know, Will, you said that Legends is relatively affordable compared to other UK motorsport. Jerry's thrown some numbers around for what it was costing for the British touring cars back then, what it is now. You know, Michael Crease came on earlier and said what it's costing him. Don, we know roughly sort of what kind of budgets are included for you, Kale's F1000, things like that. Just coming back to the American system, obviously there's like a ladder system with NASCAR and with IndyCar. There's the Road to Indy, things like that. Every time I speak to Brits or Europeans, it's always money. You need loads of money, loads of backing, loads of sponsorship. I've spoken with you, Lacey. I've spoken with Ryan Vargas, and I've got Alex Tagliani coming on tomorrow, which is going to be absolutely brilliant because he's a bit of a legend. And I know that he had issues with funding as well, but it doesn't seem to be as much of an issue, or didn't used to be as much of an issue. I mean, again, I've spoken to like Dalton Kellett and James Hinchcliffe and even like Will Power, guys like that. They've said that if you were good and you won, you progressed. The money wasn't an issue because there was a scholarship system in place on Road to Indy. Is that still the case out there in the States with you to a degree?
It depends what series you're on, I think. It definitely used to be more like that. Like there was development programs that would find drivers and kind of help develop them throughout it. But it has definitely to be honest, become a money game, especially in the stock car world. I'm not sure about IndyCar and stuff because I haven't been around it too much. But I have seen like IMSA still does scholarships, and they have certain ones. So does like Michelin and all those people. But yeah, I know stock car racing has definitely kind of gone that route, which I mean, it's kind of how it is. Like sponsorships are going to buy everything. Like you want to have good stuff, you need to have a lot of money. So it's hard, but it's definitely a grind. So like I've been doing marketing and sponsorship work since I was 14. So like you just kind of got to deal with it. That's just kind of what I was told. So I learned how to get money sponsors. And I was able to keep racing. Like I've raced totally off sponsorships since the last few years. Like pretty much outlaw cars. Like micros was about half and half, and then all the mid stuff was all sponsorships. So it's definitely interesting. It's big money game, but especially with like the bigger people coming in and stuff. You know how it goes. But yeah, definitely I think it just depends what series you go on. And then like dirt is like a little different. It's just all series dependent.
Okay, that's good because people who tune into these things know I'm a big IndyCar guy, and I always have been, and rabbit down people's throats how good it is. They don't listen. But so I wasn't exactly sure what it was like on the stock car NASCAR kind of route, but obviously money's a big thing. But yeah, I just think certain American series have got it right. If you win a championship, you are going to go up to the next level, which is a good thing. I mean, I guess you guys, Brits, you guys would like that, wouldn't you? If you win, say Dom, if you win the mini challenge, JCW, you go, yeah, okay, there you go. There's £500,000 to go and race in the touring cars. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
That'd be very nice. That'd be very nice. But yeah, to be fair, I think one of the big things, you start talking to people, when you win a championship or whatever, and they'll say, oh, so, with that prize money, will you? And there's no prize money, I know very few championships in the UK that give out prize money.
Yeah.
And even the ones that do, the prize money you get back for winning is maybe 10% of the budget you put in. So you're never thinking, oh, well, if I can just win that money, that's my next season sorted, or that's my next step up. That's you get a 10% discount basically on next year. So I think I don't know what it is. I think in America, I think even Australia, the teams bring in a lot more sponsorship, or that's how I understand it. And then that's less pressure on the driver, and kind of then that means you're picking on talent rather than on money. But I think I don't know, maybe in the UK we're just too saturated with drivers. There's too many drivers all with big wallets, and everyone can sit back and just go, just give us the money, and then you can sit in the car or what. But yeah, I think it'd be very nice to see it. I always talk about there's drivers I knew in karting that were phenomenal drivers, and they approached F4 teams to find out what kind of budgets they'd need to just make that next step out of karting on kind of towards F1. And they heard the numbers, they weren't even close. They were less than it. And you just think, well, it's such a shame because those drivers ended up kind of doing a bit of clubby racing and then kind of doing nothing more, and you think if they'd just had that right backing or a scholarship or whatever, then there's every chance they'd be kind of winning world titles in F1 or whatnot. There are people down there that probably are as good as any driver in the world, but just don't have that opportunity. So, but there you go. That's the world we race in, and we all just have to, as you say, get good at putting sponsor packs together.
I think for the real youngsters, there's more now than there was. I think don't the BRDC have their rising stars, and you've got the Red Bull, all the manufacturers. If we're talking about single seaters, they all have these people in the second teams, don't they? And these youngsters they're taking out of F2. Who's the New Zealand guy that's driving in Lewis's place next year? I've forgotten his name. In the Merc. Antonelli.
No, it's the
Italian. Antonelli.
Kimi Antonelli, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So, I mean, I remember in the 80s, unless you got picked up, and I'm not talking about the route I went on, I'm talking about the single-seater drivers. I think Jackie Stewart picked up David Coulthard, and Jackie Stewart's always been well connected, and he kind of pushed him through because there wasn't any of that around, that sort of, and there were a lot of drivers, British talent at that time who never got on. And I think that's always the way in motorsport, whether it's you don't get the right equipment or whatever, there'll always be drivers who have talent that don't go forward, because they can't get the money. And that's always been an issue, I think, right from going back. I can think of half a dozen people I knew who should have gone on in motor racing, but could never get the money to do it. Some of which who I knew were better drivers than I was, but they couldn't get the funding together to go forward. And that's always been difficult to do that.
I
And
think
what's actually quite interesting, something I notice is that if you look at any of the ex-Formula One drivers who've retired and from years ago, they've all gone on to become really successful in business.
Yeah,
And if
I think
you look,
Eddie Irvine's one, isn't he? He's done very well.
most of them, Rosberg, I mean, you can say it's because they have a lump of money to start with, but they really, they're quite clever. And if I think back of some of the touring car drivers I drove against, you know, Will Hoy, Steve Soper, Rouse, Gravitt, and Pete, they were Tim Harvey, very, very clever people. And they're very good politically. Jason Plato, you know, they all have an edge on just how to do things. And they'll do things a bit better. Sure, they've got the ability, but a lot of them are very clever people. And if you go right back, you know, even Emmanuel Pirro, who was on here earlier, very, very clever guy, you know, he had some fantastic, amazing talent, but there are a lot of other drivers, and there are now, I'm sure, who can't get on because they can't get the funding to do it, you know, especially in the lower formulas, you know, I think Rob Huff. Does everyone know who Rob Huff is?
Yeah, Rob, the British touring car driver, world touring car champion. Yeah.
Yeah, well, as I remember, probably 20 years ago now, maybe a bit more, he won a one-mate championship.
The Cooper Cup, yeah.
Yeah, and that got him then a drive in the touring car team, if I'm right. And then from that, he went to World Touring Cars. And I think he's been a professional driver ever since. So
yeah. And I actually spoke with Rob. I arranged for him to come on for a chat, and then he picked up a drive somewhere. And I saw him the other week, and he said, "I'm actually driving every single week up until Christmas." Given that his full-time season has just ended this weekend, and he's still he's because he's got that extra thing, he can put himself out there and the business side, marketing side.
Steve Soper as well, I think. I think Steve won when in about 82 or 83, he won the Metro Challenge.
Yes, and then went into touring cars, didn't he?
And was picked up and then went to Eggenberg and various other people. But you still have to have the ability, you know, even if you're smart, you know.
I mean, there's some names that have cropped up in the comments, guys. I have seen the comments, but I've just been fully engrossed in the chat. It's been lovely. But there's like names that have come up. I mean, we had like Johnny Molam, who's obviously had a very, very successful GT career. He's won at Sebring and Daytona and things like that. He was picked up by like Jackie Stewart and his ladder of talent or staircase of talent, whatever it's called. But then, you know, he said he couldn't raise the budget. Another one was like Gary Ailes, who was in single seaters and in touring cars, and
Gary raced with me in my car, you know.
Yeah, he did. Yes,
he was a talented young man, and whose father worked for Peter Hall, who was ICS, and he was quick, but just couldn't get the money together, you know.
Which is a shame. I mean, there's a comment here. It says, "And as ever, it was just a case of being in the right place at the right time," and that's a big thing, isn't it? I mean, like, you know, there's a comment earlier on, you know, again, saying about like Lacey, you said you were out there and doing your marketing and stuff, and you know, 14, 15-year-olds in England definitely aren't doing that. They're kind of sitting in front of a goggle box or something, but it's just you know, having that. Again, as you allude to, and I guess like Lacey and Kales, you've found it as well. It's you can have all the ability in the world, even now, with social media and more visibility, but you need to have that business head as well, which you can have the head on your shoulders, but to make it work is tricky, isn't it?
You learn so much over the years, though, I think, because like obviously I started racing go-karts when I was 14. So I started quite late compared to a lot of people, but like over the years, how much I've learned with, you know, going to businesses, what you have to have, what you have to show up. And it's not about you know, when you go in to walk into that, you know, company or whatever, it's not about the driver or what you've achieved. It's about what you can, you know, give to them and what you can put on the table. And I think that's the hardest thing, because, you know, when I go to companies now, it's kind of like, you know, what's F1000, or, you know, it's only kind of known as F1. So it's trying to explain that thing to companies. And, you know, as you said, you have to be in the right place at the right time, unless you're like a multimillionaire, can go as far as possible. But yeah, no, I think it's, you know, it does kind of teach you as a young kid, you know, up the years, the business level as well. So it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, just and I guess that's the same for you. You know, that's the same for you, Lacey, isn't it? Just trying to show what you can give back to anyone who wants to invest in you. It's that thing, isn't it? And like Dom's the same, I guess.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, I also started racing when I was 14, so like, I felt like an old lady when I started, because there's like 6-year-olds that have raced longer than me at that point. So, yeah, it's definitely interesting. Like, I remember the first marketing deck I made. That thing was atrocious, but I said to people that did not need to get that thing, and I learned from it, and I was able to make a lot of different contacts, and I think they definitely probably remembered the rainbow marketing deck, so that's probably that. And yeah, it's crazy. I like showing people like, this is the first deck I did versus now. And then like, I think honestly too, with like, a lot of people do hire people to do that stuff for them. Like, they have their own marketing people. But honestly, with me, I feel like, especially, it might be because I'm doing it and I'm interacting with the people directly. A lot of companies like that, just the direct communication, the direct interaction, because it's genuine and they don't feel like it's like they can tell you want it. It's not as much like like blah blah blah, you know. So I think that's definitely, honestly, having to do this has really helped me keep going, in my opinion. I don't know if I would be able to get some of the partners I've gotten if I had someone else do it for me. So yeah, it's definitely interesting, and definitely having the right people in your corner. It can take one person to mess it all up. So having the right people in your corner, the right team, the right everything, it starts going well. So hopefully with like this year, it was a little bit of a mess, but next year I feel really good about it. So hopefully we are gonna get something going pretty soon. But yeah, sorry, talking in a circle. But yeah, marketing, very important, especially to learn when you are younger.
Yeah. See, that again, that is where kind of, I guess social media can there's a danger you can be oversaturated with social media, because there's so many people out there trying to do the same thing. But it is kind of cool that you can, you know, rather than send someone to do your bidding for you, you can be the face. Say, look, I'm the driver. This is me, and you can go there and do it, which is good. Whereas before, it was all sort of, you know, phone calls on telephones that were still stuck in the wall, and like letters and things like that. Whereas now, I guess it's a bit not easier, but there's more ways that you can get in contact with people, which is a good thing. Sure.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Like, I even do marketing for some other drivers that like I'm friends with and stuff, just like help them, because I mean, I've done it for so long. I want them to do good too. So I'm like, yeah, I'll help you with your stuff. But then I'm like, I feel weird because the person already knows me. They're like, are you like doing it? I'm like, just ignore it. Pretend it's not me doing it.
Yeah, sure. No, that's cool. I love all that kind of stuff. I mean, you know, it's the kind of thing, isn't it? If you want anything, you got to kind of just poke your nose into loads of different places and just see where it leads you, I guess. That's basically how I get interviews. That's how I get interviews. I just keep sticking my face in people's faces, and they go, "Oh, go on then. If it gets rid of you, we'll come on for a chat."
One thing I've noticed tonight with, dare I say it, all these youngsters you've got on here, is how serious they all are. You're all very serious and professional.
It wasn't like that in your day, was it, Jerry? You were a bit more, go on, let's have a go.
Well, no, but it was, you had to be serious with your sponsorship, but I think it's a lot more corporate now, you know, and I don't know about social media because I don't do it, but obviously that's a big part of it as well. And I think that's why, so I'm led to believe, is why Formula One's become so popular with people who aren't true race fans, you know, the younger people, is through the social media and stuff like that.
I am so glad you just said that, Jerry, honestly.
Really?
I was in danger of sounding like a right old git if I said it, and I'm only 43.
Well, no, I think that's right, and I think that's when Bernie got out. Bernie was set in his ways, and he wouldn't do it any other way. And the one thing that the new people that have come in and taken it over is it's 20 times the size now, isn't it? And it's appealing to the Americans. The Americans wouldn't look at Formula One for years, you know, because it was rubbish, you know. And the one race we put on there, do you remember when 6 cars started because the tyres?
Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Is there Indianapolis? Yeah, that that must have been 20 years ago, probably more. But
probably is 20 years. 20, yeah. 05 was it?
2004, 2005.
Yeah.
4 or 5, wasn't it? Yeah, I think you're right, Will. Yeah.
But it's all got a lot more professional. But you guys definitely don't have the fun that we used to have.
Come to the Legends paddock. We have a good laugh there. We just keep all the proper officials out of it, and then it's good.
Yeah.
That sounds like a challenge, doesn't it? You don't have the fun we do. Oh, really?
I think it probably comes around, as you said, this about social media. I think we've all probably went, you know what? I'll have to be careful here because what I do today I might be fine today, but in 5 years' time it'll come back to bite me or whatnot. I think you can't,
probably.
Can't get away with it. You're always on your guard in that sense. So we all have to be really boring now.
The most common thing I get asked, like if I approach companies over here, is like, oh, how many social media followers do you have? How many on TikTok? How many on Instagram? And that's the first thing they always ask, which to me it's obviously frustrating, but I can see where they're coming from because obviously they need to, be promoted as a company and that's what they're looking for. But I'm not sure, Jerry, how it was back then. Obviously social media wasn't as big as it is in motorsport now, but
no, we didn't have it. We didn't have social media.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's
even like the internet was 10. Well, even the internet was 10 years away in '88, wasn't it? So
yeah, we had we'd do a proposal, get one printed in like a brochure, and you'd go to a company and present that in front of them. But I had some really good sponsors, we used to call them. Then you call them partners, I think. Or but I always found it difficult to go in front of anyone and say, well, actually, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, because it's kind of alien to the way I was brought up. Whereas I notice a lot of drivers now, particularly Bradley, I used to read his press releases and think, fucking hell, are you writing that about yourself? Where's the humility? It's kind of.
I do want to say something here. Bradley actually put a few quid my way to make his race reports from 2022 sound a bit better.
So that's
I've just thrown Brad under the bus big time about his race report. So if they sounded a bit, but no, I think Jerry, you're talking about before
social media.
Like before, like a few years ago. Before I knew Brad, and but you've really got to sort of toot your own horn, haven't you? You've got to really say, give it the big I am almost.
Because like even I prefer going into companies with like a portfolio, with anything that I'm doing the following year or whatever, and sponsorship. I prefer like approaching them face to face because they know that you want it, they know you've gone out of your time to go do it. But then like some companies you go into and they're like, oh, just send it to me on email, or I'll email you back, and you're just kind of like, no, I'll have the meeting with you now right here.
No, I can see that. It's a different world, that side of it. I think the principles are the same. Of people still want to get a return on their money, but one of the easiest things I said, look, there's 3 in-car cameras. I've got one of them for the whole season, and whether I'm first or last, I'm guaranteed X amount of coverage on BBC Grandstand.
Yeah,
and no one else could see. I had to pay, I think, 25 grand for that camera.
Wow.
In 88, 89 and 90.
Crikey,
and that's how they raised the budget to get it on the TV, was by selling the 3 in-car cameras. And it was a no-brainer to me, because I knew if I had an in-car camera, that I would get coverage, because the furthest thing was from my mind was when I went into touring cars the first year. It didn't even enter my mind I was going to qualify second and win the first race.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it was a shock to me as much as everyone else, you know. And then to run at the front for the whole of that year. And but it was the in-car camera was the thing I sold.
Yeah.
Listen, forget I can be last. I'm going to get you coverage on BBC, which was a bigger deal then than it is now.
See, that's what I was just about to say. I mean, back then, I mean, people like Kales and Lacey and people, they're probably thinking, well, an in-car. I mean, now you can buy a GoPro, slap it on the side of your like midget car or your F1000 car, stick it on the side, video it, and go, right, here you go. Yeah. Whereas I remember, I'm so old here. I remember this. It was about 89, I think it was, and I remember Murray Walker in Formula One. He said, and it was the curse of the camera car. And they said every time they put a camera on one of the F1 cars, because there was only one, and it went round, and whoever paid the most money got the camera. And they said every time someone who puts the camera on the side of the airbox, they have a shunt. Yeah, they have a crash, and they say, right, and now, and this is the start from, and I remember it was the Lotus of Satoru Nakajima. And because he was in with Honda and he had loads of money, slapped the camera on the side in Mexico, second corner, ploughed straight into the back of someone. And it just seems odd now that there was only ever one camera, and now you can just literally go and buy a GoPro for £50 or $50, mount it on your car, and go, right, here's some coverage for whoever wants to sponsor me.
There are only 3 channels.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. See now, I remember
don't realise. And you know, when some of us guys started appearing on TV regularly, it wasn't like now where everyone's on Love Island or Big Brother or everything's televised. Nothing was televised, and you speak to any of the drivers, Tim Harvey, Rouse, Rob Gravitt from my era. You were a superstar because you were on the TV every Saturday. And I lived in Hook. You know Hook, don't you? Just down the road.
Just down the road from me, yeah.
I used to go and park my car at the newsagents or something, and I'd have all the kids around it when I came out. And, oh, you're the guy that races the Sierra.
Yeah.
And now it's nothing. You know, it's because you're all on satellite and it's all in-car cameras and stuff, but it was something really, really special then, you know.
It was kind of really focal with you, wasn't it? I mean,
and we used to misbehave, and you'd never get in trouble for it, you know, because there's that guy. Yeah, we used to go and smash up restaurants and things like that, you know, and no one minded.
Yeah, I mean, I remember. Because I mentioned that you won the first British Touring Car Championship race that I ever saw at Silverstone in '88.
Yeah.
I didn't know until, well, I was 7 then, so I didn't know until I was 30, 12, 13 years ago, that race wasn't live. It had happened the week before.
Yeah,
and it was televised and they put it on the TV the week later.
Well, they put it on
trying to explain that to anyone under the age of 25 now, they're like, what? What do you mean it wasn't live? Why couldn't you watch it live? Why didn't you watch it on one of the 800 TV channels you've got? I said, because we had 4.
Yeah, no, but the other thing was it was better because they took all the film back and they were able to edit it into a more exciting program. And the BBC only agreed to show it if they were given an edited tape with Murray Walker on. And they didn't put it on Grandstand first. They put it on a program called Sport on Friday. And that went ballistic, and it was so well received, they then put it on Grandstand. But it was, I don't think it was live till much later, the 90s, I think, because they got better programs by being able to put all the good bits together, you know.
Yeah, and I've just seen a comment actually in the comment section. It says, now there's God knows how many TV channels and there's less stuff worth watching now than there was when we had 3. It's like, yeah, true. I'm just loving the kind of half blank look on like Kale's and Lacey's face. Like 4 TV channels? What? What are you talking about?
No, it was 3.
See,
Fourth one
I
came along
remember.
later.
Yeah, we had BBC One, BBC Two, ITV, international television. Sorry, independent television, and then Channel 4. And then it all started to go wrong when Channel 5 came in, but we'll leave that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just thinking now, it's something that's come in my mind here. I mean, talking about different cars, different eras, and all that kind of stuff. Have all of you got a car that from obviously we're all different ages, but from when you were young or from now that you'd love to have a go in? That's just popped into my head. I mean, is there anyone that wants to wade in? Is there a car that you think, I want to race that, whether it be F1 or NASCAR or touring cars or whatever?
Porsche 917, the old Steve McQueen from the movie Le Mans. I know it's the old
with the
old Le Mans car. Got the original Gulf colours. Yeah.
Hang on a minute.
It's got a picture of it.
I reckon he's got a model.
Who needs a picture? Hey, there you go.
There we go. That's the one. That is my dream race car.
I'm actually with you on that. I've got a little golf section on my wall. I've got a little golf racing oil sign, a golf clock, and then a shelf with this on it. And there's another one. But anyway, that's a great choice. I love that.
Rich, I'm going to have to leave you, I'm afraid. I've got to be up early instructing tomorrow. So it was great to meet you all. Great to have a chat.
You too.
Happy birthday. Well done on making 5 years. And yeah, I'll see you at the track soon.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd make 5 minutes. So no, cheers, Will. Thanks very much. And also, congratulations on the Legends Championship again. Absolutely brilliant. And you're just down the road. We'll have to catch up for a beer or something, won't we?
Yeah, we'll catch you for another coffee soon. Brilliant. Thanks very much, everybody.
Good luck in America.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes, all the best, Will.
Yeah.
Cheers, Will.
See you later.
Thanks,
Bye.
mate. Yeah. So these always go on way longer than a plan, but I'm not bothered. I'm going to be sitting here again tomorrow night. Well, I'll probably be finished by now, but I'm going to be doing this again tomorrow night, which is great. So, but no,
well, I'm going to sign out as well, Rich, because it's way past my bedtime. And I've got to be up early in the morning to collect my pension from the post office. So.
Well, that's not a bad life. I mean, you've earned it. You've done well in your business. So.
In my, what are they called? Those electric buggies? I forgot. I've spoiled it now, haven't I? Those.
Those little like the little dark red ones.
Yeah, that's it.
The little burgundy little. Yeah,
I haven't actually got one of those, but
good.
I was telling Fluxy I did, and he actually believed it. I said because I haven't seen him for about 25 years, and when we were going to try and put that lunch together, I said, well, have they got ramps so I can get my electric buggy into the restaurant? And he said, you got one of those? I said, yeah, I've got one of those. I've had one for years, which I haven't, but
he should know you better by now, shouldn't he? He should know you by now. I said, Jerry, yeah, that meant that lunch that we were trying to sort out. We'll try and get it sorted out by the end of the year for everyone. That'd be great. Nice
to meet you guys. Good luck, girls, with your careers.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Keep at it, and the minis. You in them again next year?
We'll see. We'll see.
Ooh.
Well, good luck with raising the money, and I'll talk to you on the phone, Rich.
Yes, we'll do, Jerry. We'll have a proper catch up soon.
Okay. Take it easy. Bye.
Thanks a lot, Jerry. Really appreciate it.
Bye.
Catch you later.
Cheers.
I don't even know how to switch it off.
Hit it with a hammer. No, there you go. No, there you go. So that was Jerry Marnie. What an absolute legend of British motorsport. Absolutely love that guy. Guys, I'm not going to toot my own trumpet, but watch the chat I had with him. Go onto Facebook in the video section. Give it a scroll. I think it was last year, or go onto the YouTube channel and in the live, and it's all in there. Find the chat with Jerry Marnie. If you've got a spare 4 hours of your life, it's well worth a listen. I can say this now because he's gone off. He actually spent some time at Her Majesty's pleasure due to other reasons, which is very unfortunate, and it shouldn't ever be detrimental to Jerry's character because he's brilliant. But yeah, it's a fantastic listen. I love that guy. He's a good guy. Anyway, right, I feel like I should actually pay attention to some of the people in the comments, because you have been throwing the comments in left, right, and centre, and I have responded to precisely 3 of them, which is terrible. But yeah, I'm just going to have a quick look. What we got here. I'm going to have a quick scroll. Oh dear. Hang on, what we got here? We're talking about other female racers here, which is cool. Well, firstly, I want to say hello to Darren Thipthorpe. He's from the Arai Helmet Company, UK. He's a good lad. Good to see you in the last couple of weeks, Darren. Appreciate your time. He says helmet technology's moved dramatically on from 20 years ago, thankfully. Absolutely right. Right, crikey. Oh my God, there are so many of these comments in here. I can't believe all these people have tuned in. I can't believe you guys have hopped on for a chat. Okay, this is ridiculous. I'm genuinely starting to believe that the hard compound might be a motorsports thing rather than just my hobby. I don't quite understand why. Where are we? Right, hang on. Netton Lindgren. Yeah, she spoke about Netton Lindgren. Female racers. Who else have we got? Ellen Law. Yes, Ellen Law. She was in the DTM. I remember watching her years ago. Louise Aitken Walker did rallying and the touring cars. John Clennan's teammate. Remember that? Giovanna Amati. Yeah, she was in Brabham, and it didn't go very well for her in F1. And then they replaced her with Damon Hill. I'm not sure whatever happened to him. I've actually got his mobile number, and I keep asking him to come on for a chat, and he never responds. So I'm just going to leave it for a minute. But anyway, there we are. That's all these comments, guys. I have seen all the comments, and it's very lovely that you've all talking about things. Kathy Muller, Ivan Muller's sister. Yes, Ivan Muller came on here. He was good. Touring car driver. So yeah, all good. Right. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to talk to you guys that are here. Obviously, we can't give away too much for next year, but any plans? You guys, are you working on stuff? Anything specific? We don't have to give anything away. But I guess it's just all finding money as usual, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the main kind of thing. I'd say, well, for myself, anyone 100%, but I'd say it's the same for everyone else trying to go up in the motorsport world or else trying to do something new. It's you can't really plan it unless you have contracts or money in place. So it's kind of hard to tell, really. But yeah, hopefully for all of us, we will be moving up.
Yeah, I guess that's the same for you guys as well, Dom and Lacey.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it'll be very sponsor dependent. I've met a really good. I'm talking with a great team right now, so hopefully that we're working together, getting everything ready to go for next year. So hopefully everything works out for next year. But I'm really sorry I have to leave. I have a school meeting at 5:40 my time, so I've been watching the time. I don't want to interrupt you, but I have to go.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I appreciate there's the time difference and you've got stuff going on, but Lacey, thank you very much for hopping on.
Of course. Happy podcast birthday. Thank you for having me on. It was really good catching up, and good luck to y'all too.
Yeah, fantastic, great stuff, Lacey. We'll be keeping an eye on what you get up to in the next few months.
All right, awesome. Thank y'all so much.
Great stuff. Good luck.
Thank you.
Oh dear, we're getting to that time, aren't we? We're winding down. But yeah, I mean, I just talking to you two guys though. I mean, obviously not sort of any main sort of plans in place or anything like that. But I mean, where would you both like to get to? I mean, I guess Dom, would you look at touring cars or look at GT?
See, I was going to say I'm old now in motorsport, Rich. I'm 30 now. That's
30 was a long time ago for me, man. Come on.
I need to start looking at my pension. Never mind.
So you'll have to start talking with Jerry. You know.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd see yourself in touring cars anytime soon? Like, obviously, I know like budget's a huge thing with touring cars. It's gone so expensive, but would that be something that you'd like to?
I'd love to give it a go, but yeah, the gulf between the budgets you need for things like the minis that support the touring cars and then up to touring cars is such a big step. Dan, has raced in the touring cars these last 3 rounds. Obviously, he was in minis as a teammate for the first 6 rounds of the minis, and then over the last 6 weeks has done 3 rounds of the touring cars to see out the season. And he's done a fantastic job, and it shows that if you get that opportunity, you can kind of get in that car and you've got a potential to do do it justice. But yeah, I know the graft he's had to put in, even
He's
with a lot
done
of
phenomenally
support
well, hasn't he, to get the
get
budget
them.
together in such a short amount of time.
It was, you know, he was telling me that, you know, some of the weekends it was you know, he was phoning the team up on the Monday of the race weekend going, look, it's just not happening. You know, I can't get the sponsors, the money's not there. And then by, you know, 12 hours later, 24 hours later, there's just enough scraped together that, right, okay, it's, you know, he's there on Wednesday afternoon, finally confirming with the team, yes, I'll be in the car. The posts go out on social media on Wednesday afternoon, and Thursday morning he's there to shake down the cars. And it's like, it's crazy. It's down to how many hours before I have to kind of commit rather than days or weeks. So you know, and you know, yeah, it's really difficult out there at the minute, especially to get sponsors. So
I mean,
yeah,
that's the amazing thing that that a lot of people from the outside looking in don't see. I mean, obviously through this page, I've managed to sort of, you know, I've got like like the tiniest little toenail in the door, and I understand how it all kind of works. And people don't realize that, you know, it is like sometimes it's proper 11th hour stuff, isn't it? It's like, it's like, you know, I don't know, like mid down a Wednesday, it's like, no, I'm gonna have to find something to do this weekend. And then someone puts in a phone call, says, yes, we'll put this extra bit in. And all of a sudden you're going touring car racing at Silverstone, you know, and some of the stories that I hear and I obviously can't repeat and I can't hear, and I can't put on the page, and I wouldn't. It makes my jaw hit the floor. You just think, how can you live like that? Your nerves must be shot to bits, thinking, "Oh no, not happening, not happening." Doom and gloom. Then all of a sudden, bosh! Oh, you know. I'm like, sorry, chaps, I've just got to go and out qualify Colin Turkington. You know, it's just like it's astonishing.
All those announcements that people go, wow, we didn't see that coming. There was like no rumors of it. The chances there was no rumors of it was because it was only agreed about 3 hours before. There wasn't a chance for it to leak, you know.
Yeah, there was like nothing to leak.
Minute, you know. Yeah.
Well, because people say to me, some people think I'm some kind of insider, and I'm not. I'm just a bloke. But and people say, oh, have you got anything that you can tell us about Dan Zelos? About is he going to be in for Silverstone or for Brands? I went, no.
Even he doesn't know.
What makes you think they'd tell me anyway? I mean, I hear bits and pieces. I mean, I had a great one actually. It's about 3 years ago. It was when Sebastian Vettel was, is he going to leave Ferrari? Where's he going to go? What's he going to do? All this kind of stuff. And someone sent me a message on Twitter saying, next time you speak with Sebastian Vettel, can you ask him? I went, I think the closest I've been to Sebastian Vettel was I was in the same hemisphere as him. You know, I mean, I watched him at Silverstone once. I mean, I don't think, what makes you think I know anything?
Did you not bump into him at Tesco like normal, or?
I mean, I have often, you know, sometimes I just pop down to Morrison's if I'm in the area. You know, I go in there and I'm, you know, looking to buy a block of cheese, and you know, lo and behold, there's Lando Norris. It happens all the time.
Pop down the F1 driver aisle, and
yes, exactly, down the F1, down the F1 aisle, but that's the thing. I mean, people ask me about things, and it's like, well, one, if I do know, I'm not going to tell you, because why would I? I've got to wait till it's official. And two, I don't know. I genuinely have no idea. Why would I? I'm just a bloke who set a page up, and people sometimes think that I know stuff. It's like, well, I know some things, but these things happen so late in the day.
Yeah.
That you've got, you know, that there's as you say, there's like nothing to leak. And so, you know, so well, why won't you tell us? One, because I don't know, and two, the driver doesn't know. I mean, like chaos. I mean, I guess you must have found that, you know, and obviously it's a bit tricky you being over in Ireland and things all coming together late on, because you often have to hop over to the UK.
Like obviously a lot of people know about the F4, but you know, even with that, you know, people that don't even speak to me were getting messages being like, is Kale's doing the British F4 or the GB4 or whatever? And like at that point I didn't even know myself, but I was getting messages off these random people asking if I was jumping into the F4 grid, and like at that stage you're kind of like I don't have an answer for myself, never mind the public. So it's that is kind of, you don't know where you stand with like what to put on social media and stuff. So it's kind of difficult, but
Yeah, I imagine it's tricky. I mean, I did hear from someone. I'm not going to name names. Someone who's done very well in single seaters this year, and they're looking at moving up to. I think it's British F3. That is British F3, not F3 F3.
Yeah, GB3.
JB3.
And they're going to have to find it's something like 1.3 million. And you think, I don't have any words for it, because you think 1.3 million for a chat I mean, where the hell do you find that to begin with?
That's probably.
And you can't even sell it as being on a main TV channel, because you might get a bit of coverage on Eurosport if British GT overruns and they've got to fill the gap, and you might get a bit of GB3 in there. And it's 1.3 million, and you think that's just astonishing. I don't
That's when
understand
it's a stepping stone to something bigger, right? It's you know, you're spending that money not because that's your headline act, but that's just
it's just to get
starter. You know,
what was it Abby Eaton? She's had 33 million, isn't she, spray painted on her Porsche, and she won at Silverstone, which was great.
Yeah,
but she said, and people were saying, "What's 33 million?" And she said, "That's how much you're going to spend to get from karting to F1." And you think, you know, take the example of like Joseph Loke, who's obviously won the Autosport Award, and he's done a test in Aston Martin, and he's in F3 this year. I mean, he's just a bloke. He's a young lad from a normal, absolutely normal family in Macclesfield, and you think, how on earth are they going to find, even over the course of 15 years, 33 million quid? It's like, it's just astonishing. And if you had 33 million quid, why the hell would you go racing? Keep it.
Clubman driver, like, you know, if you're in Clubman racing, like, you know, let's say like Dom's and Minis, and like I'm in F1000, you know, where do you go from there unless you have that kind of money? So like racing the F1000, like my next step is basically the F4 for obviously the coverage, and that's the kind of step towards the single seater route. But we're paying, you know, what we're spending in the F1000 is only a chip off the shoulder of what that budget is for F4. And like I'm in a fast car in what I'm in now, and obviously it's at club level, so it's it's not as, you know, advertised or whatever like that. But you know, it's just crazy with the level of, you know, because obviously the F1000 is a driver's car, and it's a lot quicker, but then you to go in a slower car because of the coverage and how much is spent in it. So it's a bit mad when you think about it, but it's just kind of the route you have to go, and it's just the harder route.
Yeah, budgets never just increase by 10% from one thing to the next. It's times it by 10 or times it by some, and you just think, well, you know, it's yeah. We've talked about it a lot tonight, but yeah, it's so tough out there sometimes with that. Like you say, we all get here as drivers at, you know, November. Everyone else is kind of thinking, oh, we've got Halloween and Christmas. I'm thinking, right, I've got sponsorship to sort out, and that's it for the next 4 months, and then you've opened up by February. You know, you've got it together, so you can start announcing things and getting things in place ready for a good start of the season, pre-season testing, and into April. But yeah, even then it never happens. You always get to the first round of the season going, I've still got things going on. I've still got fingers and pies. Hang on, you know.
Yeah.
But,
just trying to make it all happen. I mean, you know, it's like Halloween, and you've got your own horror story to sort out. It's just like
that's exactly it.
I mean, I mean, just quickly, while we're on the subject of money and stuff, obviously, I don't know if you guys tuning in have seen, we're doing a fundraiser for Race Against Dementia, which coincides with the 5th birthday of the page. Dom, obviously, you very kindly donated a poster and signed photos and stuff. I just want to say, this is cool. That is actually, I don't know if anyone can see. This is going to be backwards and reversed.
Yeah.
Porsche Carrera Cup, Snetterton winner 2015. Dan Camish has donated that. That's very nice.
Fantastic. That's great. That
of Dan to do that. But yeah, I mean, basically, I have got loads and loads of stuff. I just want to give a shout out to Oliver Taylor in the comments. Go and check him out on Twitter. I've got to do this. Go check him out on Twitter. He's Artified, at Artified, but the FI bit is F1. So there you go. He's done this. This is cool. This is a genuine bit of a Caterham F1 car. The brake pad. Race used, and he's painted it, and he's got the hard compound logo on it. He's made that, and that's up for grabs. Genuine part of genuine F1 car. Hang on, that's the Williams frame, and this bit, the dark blue bit, and the W bit is made out of Valtteri Bottas's side pod from the FW35, and there's some key rings and stuff as well. So we've got loads of stuff. Honestly, guys, if you want to go on, I'm going to do this now. I've made some amazing contacts since I've set up this thing, and it's ridiculous. I don't quite understand how guys like Derek Daly and Emanuele Pirro have just tuned in. But a lot of great people have donated lots of great stuff, and I've literally, including signed photos and stuff, I've got like best part of 200 items to give away. Not quite giveaway, you have to spend a few quid, but basically it's all just to raise money for Race Against Dementia. Dementia is going to affect all of us at some point. So guys, if you missed it earlier, do go on to justgiving.com /page/THCRAD, which is the hard compound Race Against Dementia. And every pound that you donate gets you an entry onto the big random generator name wheel thing. So yeah, if you take up more space on that wheel, the more chance you have of winning some cool stuff. And I've got Andy Prio signed race boots. I've got John Cleland signed race gloves. Johnny Molam is donating a signed something, probably either a race suit or some boots. We've got books from David Tremaine. We've got artwork. We've got loads of stuff. So I just want to say, go on there and make a donation. It can be £1, it can be 20 quid, 50 quid, whatever you like. And it's going to run for 3 weeks. So there we are. That's what we're doing. Anyway, that was a self-plug.
No,
so yeah, raise some money. Let's raise money.
That's what you're doing with that, Rich. It's I saw the list of prizes. It's big. I don't think you can enter and not win something. I think it's nearly a guaranteed win. But
well, that's the thing. I mean, for the and as I've said, I mean, there's currently 203 people watching this, which is very good. When I announced the prize list, there was like 150 people hit like or love or whatever the reaction was. I'm just thinking, the target is to raise £1,000, which is amazingly, we got to 300 and something odd quid within 5 hours. But yeah, guys, just share it around. I mean, however much you spend, you're probably going to win something, unless someone chucks £1,000 at it.
I've got a question, Rich. If I enter and I win my own signed photo, can I like trade that in for something like a Bradley Gavitt or a Lydia Walmsley photo at least? Like, can I?
we can do a respin, unless you want your own signed photo. I mean, you can. I don't know.
No, I've been called big-headed before, but even that crosses the line for me.
Thing is, though, I mean, what I'm thinking. I mean, all the stuff here, all the stuff that Artified Oliver Tyler's done. I've got 2 key rings that are made out of, with a hard compound logo on it, made out of Valtteri Bottas's side pods. He's submitted 4 things. They're all one of one. There's only one of them in the world. You know, there's like I held these up earlier on. That's Jerry in his. That's Jerry Marnie in his car, and I don't know if you can see there at the top where my finger is. He signed those. So they're all signed, and there's not many of those left in the world because they're from 1988. And he signed those, and all the stuff's quite sort of rare stuff. And you know, I think everything, whether it's a signed poster of Jerry Marnie or Dom's thing or whatever it might be, it's worth £10, isn't it? I mean, it's got to be worth 10 quid because you'd pay that on eBay for a signed photo.
It's worth 10 quid to charity as well, right? Yeah. It's not just it's for a good cause. So.
I mean, if you go on eBay and you want to buy a signed photo of Colin Turkington, it's going to cost you £10. So you might as well have a £10 or 20 quid, and you might end up with something pretty huge. I mean, that's Michael Crease's lanyard from F1 Porsche Super Cup and T-shirts, and so yeah, loads of good stuff. Anyway, enough of that. So yeah, it's all good. I mean, I was thinking we've been sitting here for nearly 3 hours.
I was going to say, actually, I need to drop off because I've got
Yeah, I
work
was just
in
going
the
to say
morning.
I should probably go to bed. But yeah, I mean, I'll let you guys crack on. I'm going to sit for another 5 minutes and talk about motorsport. But no, Dom, thanks for popping on, mate. Good to see you again on Sunday. Thank you for signing the bits for me.
No problem. Thanks for the invite. It's been great, and happy 5th birthday.
Yeah,
look good for it.
I'll see how much my hairline's receded by the 10th one, because that's pretty bad, isn't it? Look at that. Oh dear. But yeah, I'll see how much it has gone by the 10th one.
No,
But,
well, thanks, Rich.
No, cheers, Dom, and yeah, we'll catch up. Bye, Nikki. See you soon.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Kales as well. Thank you very much for dropping on. You were the first one on, so you've stayed the course. Couldn't quite get all the words in you wanted to because of all the other lot.
No, Jesus, no. It's been good to be on and celebrate. The 5th birthday. I've been there from the start, and I think you've done a good job, and you should be incredibly proud of yourself and what you've done. You've brought people around the world together to actually get an in-depth industry and kind of thing around motorsport. So there's not many people that have done that, so it's a credit to you. Well done.
Well, no, thanks very much. It's a bit weird because as I said, I set this thing up. I put it on my own socials. I set this thing up as a hobby after I stopped playing football, and because I got injured.
I don't think it's a hobby anymore. I think it's you have to get it a full-time job now.
I'm gonna have to find a way to make some money off of this damn thing. But no, this wasn't part of the plan. It was just a little hobby thing, and it's gone a bit crazy. But no, Chaos, thank you for coming on. Thank you for being part of. Well, thank you for all the support on all the other interviews as well. I see you pop up.
It's my pleasure. I love seeing other people on here with you. You've done a great job. Yeah, be proud of yourself. Well done.
Great stuff. Thanks very much. Much appreciated. And yeah, we'll have to catch up when you're over here at some point. I'll have to come to an F1000 race or whatever it is you end up doing.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Rich. Have a lovely evening.
Great stuff. Cheers, Chaos. Thanks very much. And then there was one. Well, I don't know what to say. I can't believe all those people have tuned in. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to be sitting on the sofa with my cup of tea in a minute, thinking I've just spoken with all these amazing people, with all of you guys. Guys, I'm so sorry I haven't been able to get to your comments. I invited a lot of people, not a lot. I invited a few people back on for a chat from across the motorsport spectrum, and I genuinely thought like 2 might hop on, but to have all those people, guys and girls, coming on. We've had Lacey Furno from North Carolina. We've had Derek Daly from Indianapolis. We've had all these people on. There was another guy. There's like Kike Mancia. Unfortunately, I was checking my phone. He was having issues logging in, which is a real shame. And like Willie T. Ribbs had the same thing. So unfortunately, those 2 guys couldn't hop on. But absolutely amazing to have those guys on. I hope you'll forgive me for getting fully engrossed in what they were saying. I hope I haven't ignored all of you guys. I have seen all of the comments that have come in. I hope you guys have enjoyed reading the comments as well. Thank you very, very much. And this is not the hard comment. This is me just saying some stuff to you guys. As I said, I set this thing up as a hobby. I used to play football quite a lot. I've always loved motorsport. I played football from when I was 10 to when I was about 35. And I had 2 or 3 years where I was just finding myself sitting on the sofa, watching telly, not doing very much, and discovering that TV was a bit rubbish. I'm flicking through social media, and there was like a British touring car group and NASCAR thing and IndyCar, and I've loved all of that stuff and bikes and stuff. And I thought somebody should do something where it's all in one place. And I thought, well, maybe I could do that. And I didn't think much more of it. And I got talked into doing it. And it was just a hobby, just to keep me sane and not watching TV and stuff. And it's ended up here. And I'm not saying the hard compound's become a thing or that it's become big or anything like that, because I don't see it that way. It's just my little thing that I do, and I want to share motorsport with all of you guys. My love of motorsport, and someone's actually said, was it Vitolda? I think it was Vitolda. Said something about being a nerd. That's it. You should get a gong for services to nerdism. Absolutely right. On a quick tangent, there was a show about a lady who was very sadly diagnosed with cancer at age 24, I think, and she lived for 15 years, and she sadly died this year. I forget her name. There was a program about it, and it was about her dealing with cancer and how she lived her life. And the title of it was How to Glitter a Turd, which was wonderful. And I thought the hard compound is how to sugarcoat a nerd. I just did this thing. I just set this thing up as a hobby that I wanted to just do something involving motorsport, because I've loved it since I was 5. Since this chap up here, Nigel Mansell, was my boy growing up, and it's become this thing, apparently. Even though I don't think it is a thing, I don't see it as it's just my little hobby that I do. Yeah, you guys seem to tune in, and other people seem to like it, and people keep saying yes to interviews, which interviews were never part of the plan. It was something I just I saw Rob Gravitt and Bradley Gravitt do something on Twitter with, I think it was Ian Waterhouse, and I thought I could do that, maybe something to do as a one-off, and there's 150 of them. So I don't quite know how it's happened, but it's thanks to you guys as well, because you guys tune in, and I it's not asking for likes or engagements or anything like that, because we all know social media is a fickle little bugger, and it pushes some things and not others, and it gets annoying, and I moan about it. I'm only human. But yeah, honestly, guys, hitting that like button or just putting a comment in, it makes a huge difference. But yeah, so here we are 5 years later, and we're talking to all these legends, which is amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm just going to pick on a few comments before we crack on. Sorry, Ollie, I'm going to move your cater and break pad out of the way. Yes, guys. Oh, also, I completely forgot, exclusive here. I don't have time for next week's interview guest next Wednesday. It's happening 8 o'clock UK time, 2100 hours, 9 o'clock CET. I'm not going to do a guess who this week. I don't have time, because we're live with Alex Tagliani tomorrow, which is going to be great. But Wednesday next week, we've got Robert Dornbos coming on for a chat. Obviously, he was one of the very first Red Bull test drivers. Raced for Minardi. He was a Jordan test driver. He's raced in IndyCar, and he's got a very interesting post-racing career business, which is going to be interesting. So yes, I'm going to be. So that's a little exclusive for you. I'm going to do an official announcement, an event, and everything on Friday evening about Robert Dornbos. So yeah, do check out the event and hit going and interested and all that kind of stuff. So that's good. And we've got some other ones coming up as well. Some ones I'm very excited for. One is a racing driver who raced against like the likes of Jackie Ickx and people like that, and then went on to do something else in Formula One. Interesting. So that's coming up as well. Yeah, all good. Oliver Taylor, you throw the most common guess in now, Mark Blundell. Yes, that's a running joke. Me and Oliver have that. And this is not a slight on anyone who guesses at things. It's fantastic. He's put the big rolling around laughing emoji in. Every time I do a guess who on the next interview guest, if it's got F1 and BTCC or F1 and sports cars, the most common guess is Mark Blundell, and it comes up all the time, and we have a little smile about it. It's like, how long is it going to take before Mark Blundell gets guessed? So guys, if on anything, put Mark Blundell in as a guest. It's absolutely brilliant. Put Mark Blundell in as a guest, and it will just keep our little smiley thing going on. There's a guest coming in. Jackie Oliver, maybe. Oh God, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? Jackie Oliver, crikey, that would be good. What we got here? Keith, I'm just going to go through some comments and then I am going to go because you've been here for 3 hours and I need some sleep because I've got a day job to do tomorrow before we have a chat with Alex Tagliani. On that subject, head over to the page. It's pinned to the top. Alex Tagliani, 8 o'clock live tomorrow. He's the chap who unfortunately ran into Alex Zanardi in the accident that took Alex's legs. And he also was racing with Sam Schmidt Motorsport, now Aaron McLaren, in 2011. And Dan Weldon took his seat in the car. They did a car swap for the Las Vegas race, and we all know what happened with Dan Weldon. So it's going to be interesting to hear Tag's insights on those two very, very sad incidents, as well as other things as well. But anywho, I'm just going to go through what we got here. Mike Cole. Hello, Mike. Mike is Kale's dad. Mike, I haven't been ignoring your comments. Brilliant to have you tuning in. Thank you very much. We hope we treated your little girl all right. Would you be interested in talking to junior BSB rider Carl Bomber Harris Jr.? I would, absolutely, Mike. Definitely. Obviously, Carl Harris was a very sad loss, and to speak to his son would be lovely. Thank you very much. Pop me a message. That'd be lovely. Keith Mao has said Hard Combination's a brilliant one-stop shop that has broadened his horizons and interests, and he's learned a heck of a lot about racing in America. That's lovely, Matt. Keith, that's lovely to hear. As I say at the start of every interview, the only reason that I do this is to share a love of motorsport. So that's fantastic. So I'm glad that it succeeded in that. Diffan, and the live managed not to crash tonight as well. So that's a big tune itself. Yes, my internet has hung on for 3 hours. The sound didn't work at the start, but we can clip that out. It's fine. But no, cheers for your support, Diffan. Darren Taylor, great job, Rich. Bringing together so many people was a brilliant effort. Well, yeah. Well, thank you, Darren. I just sent some emails out, and they took the offer up, which was lovely. Vitalda Marasevska, you've been very active in the comments as usual, which is lovely to hear. We love that. We love the engagement. It says you've thoroughly enjoyed this evening. Takes your mind off being poorly. I do hope you're feeling better soon. Not very nice being poorly. I was a bit rough last week when we spoke with Johnny Molan, which is not good. No worries, read the comments. Thank you, Keith. Simon Bill, fantastic watch. Well done. Thank you, Simon. My good friend Simon. I've known Simon for over 20 years. And we're still friends, so we're obviously doing something right. Cheers, buddy. What else have we got? Oliver Taylor said, "Bloody hell, Rich." I hope that's a good bloody hell. What else have we got? Defan, cheers, Dom. Hope you found the budget for the mini tonnage. Yes. Good luck, Kales. Good luck next year. Yes, sorting next year. Yeah, guys, do go and follow Kales. She's very, very, very impressive young lady on and off track, and her car looked cool. It's like bright pink and turquoise, and it's awesome. Yeah, it's Kayls, Kales Cole. Do go and check that out. What have we got here? It's going to be a huge prize wheel. Best be getting a gold sequin jacket. I should go and get a gold sequin jacket, shouldn't I? Go full kind of game show host. It is going to be live. I think it's going to run for about 3 weeks, the fundraiser. End of the month, I think, is probably a good time to do it because you lot will have been paid and you might be able to spare a spare fiver. But yeah, honestly, guys, go onto the Facebook page. There's a post pinned to the top. And it's all the prizes. I lost count when I got to about 120 signed photos. There's some brilliant items as well. As I said, the Andy Prio race boots. You've got Jack Goff's front ring from 2019, if that's your thing. Rory Butcher signed shirt, Ayrton Senna cap. I'm just looking over here. Got 2 books by David Tremaine. BTCC Blueprints, Mark Wagstaff and his lot. They've sent a set of stickers of every single British Touring Car champion from 1958 to 2023, possibly 2024 as well. Hopper's Motorsport Vlogs, Andy Hopley. There's a signed cap down here. Some of the stickers from Hoppers as well. As I said, this is the genuine Dan Camish trophy from Snetterton. It's pretty cool, isn't it? I'll give it a clean up. I think it's been in Dan's storage for a while, but there you go. I'll give that a clean up for you. Not too much of a clean up. We want the patina and all that. So yes, quick. What have we got here? £450 and counting. Keith Mail, thank you for checking. That's amazing. We're halfway there. I thought £1,000 might be a bit optimistic, but inside of 9 hours, we're at £450. That's fabulous. Wow. Thank you very much, guys. If you want to share the post, share the Just Giving page, share it around to your friends. If you want people to donate, which we all do, of course. If they're not motorsport fans and they want to donate, then they can. If they just either make the donation anonymously or just write no entry after your name, then you won't be entered into the prize draw, but your donation will be very welcome. So yes, there we go. Right, guys, honestly, I'd love to go back over the comments, but I can't. You guys have been on absolutely top form. Thank you so much. Diffan, and you were quite busy on Sunday getting photos signed as well. Yes, I was. I have 3 signed photos for you of Tom Ingram. And they were probably the last 3 photos that he signed before the final race on Sunday. Unfortunately, it didn't go his way, but he was very, very gracious in stopping to sign the photos. So yeah, if you're a Tom Ingram fan, if you're a Tom Chilton fan, Dan Zelos, Colin Turkington, there's also the guys at Napa Racing. I left some photos with Napa Racing UK. Dan Camish has also signed a photo of his Valvoline livery from this year. Sam Osborne has done the same. There's photos of all 4 Napa Racing UK drivers flying over the curbs at Knock Hill. They're signed. There's also one of Ash in the Laser Infinity and one in the Subaru. Unfortunately, the Napa Racing media chap left all the photos on his office desk and didn't bring them to Brands, but he's going to post them out to me this week. So there's some Napa Racing prizes as well. Napa Racing UK. Mika Salo is going to be sending a couple of signed photos over. XF1 driver. Chip Ganassi Racing. Chip Ganassi's PA has got photos of Chip Ganassi, of Alex Paloma, the IndyCar drivers from this year, as well as the 2 Cadillacs from the FIA WEC, from the World Endurance Championship, which is Alex Lynn, Earl Bamber, Ringer van der Zande, and Sebastian Bourdais. Hopefully they're going to be signed this weekend at Road Atlanta on the Petit Le Mans race. Hopefully they'll all be signed, and they're going to be coming back to me. And Mario Andretti has got 7 or 8 photos that I've sent over to him. He is signing them and sending them back. I think that's it. I'm just going to grab a couple of little bits just to show you things that I didn't take photos of. Bear with me. And then I am going to go. What have we got here? There you go. Nice A3 signed picture of Rory Butcher. British Touring Cars. That's very good. What have we got? We've got a hard compound hat. That's going to be part of the bundle. There you go. Little hard compound. But hats don't suit me. But yeah, there's loads of stuff. Everything's worth at least a tenner, surely. I appreciate not everyone's got a tenner to spare. £5, anything you can spare. I don't want to have to keep any of this stuff, even though I'd love to. This all has to go because it's all for a wonderful cause. As I said, dementia is going to affect us all. So it'll be lovely if we can raise some money, raise lots and lots of money. Oliver Taylor's written "want" in the comments. Ollie, what's that for? Is that the Dan Camish trophy? Or is it the Cleland gloves or the Prio stuff? I mean, honestly, there's. I wish I didn't have to give this all away, if I'm honest. But it's but it's all for a great cause. Baby girl on YouTube. Hi, I'm Haley. Hello, Haley. Hello. Anyway, guys, we've been on air for over 3 hours, and that wasn't the plan. But oh, hang on. Oh, Oliver Taylor wants the trophy. That's cool. Hopefully this won't be the last live of the season just to talk about the 2024 motorsport season, Rich. It will not be the last one, Defan, my friend. I want to start a different computer. I have got, let's have a think. We've got Alex Tagliani coming on tomorrow. So do come on, 8 o'clock UK. Come on for that. As I've just said, we've got Robert Dawn Boss coming on the following Wednesday. What date's that? 16th. Yeah, 16th. We're booked up until the 13th of November for live guests. Well, 1 a week, which is great. You're going to like it if you're an F1 fan and if you're a touring car fan. And if you're a fan of history of F1, that's an interesting one. There's a duel for the trophy. Foil, epee, or sabre. Good knowledge of weapons there. I'll tell you what, this thing's sharp. You could use this. There's some points on this thing. You could do some damage with that. Not that I condone that, of course. And neither would Dan. But yeah, I've got 3 or 4 interviews that I need to arrange dates for, which is great. But yeah, I think probably the midweek before Christmas, perhaps, or whatever day Christmas falls on this year. I'll be having a little chat about motorsport and doing a recap on the 2024 season. Obviously, lots of championships to deal with. F1, we don't know where that's going to go. Probably Max, probably. We've got the British Superbike champion is going to be done this weekend at Brands Hatch. Got to put something else out for that. We've got supercars coming up. Bathurst 1000 this weekend. Yes. NASCAR season's coming to an end. Alex Palou's got another championship. Dan Zelos has been brilliant. Deegan Fairclough, what a season he's had in British F4. We've got loads of Formula One Academy stuff to cover. There's Indy Lights, Jamie Chadwick. Where's she going to go next? There's so much stuff that we can cover, and I can't wait to do so. So we're going to have a chat probably just before Christmas, I think. We'll be doing one of these lives where we can all talk motorsport. So yeah, that's the plan. World Rally Championship, absolutely. Sorry, yeah, Diffan. Oh, never upset Diffan when it comes to the World Rally Championship. Goodness me. Oh, he'll be stringing me up from the Severn Bridge. Yeah, WRC, of course, that's coming to a head. DTM coming to a head. Congratulations to the Collards, who have won the British GT Championship. MotoGP. Yeah, there's loads and loads of stuff going on. You know, people toing and froing from IndyCar, and it's all good, isn't it? It's all good. So yeah, fabulous. Lots of good stuff coming up, and we'll be doing a live just before Christmas. Right, I'm not sure if there's anything else I can really cover. I mean, I can show you another couple of bits if you like. I mean, of prizes, behave yourselves. Just another 2 or 3 little things if you'd like to. I'm going to sit here for another 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'm going to go and make sure my wife and kids are still alive. Because the weather's pretty rotten here in Berkshire. But if you'd like to see any more prizes, let me know. I've got they're all sitting here. They're all to hand. If not, I'm going to press on in about 2 or 3 minutes because it's been a long day. But guys, thank you ever so much for all the support. As I said, from people that I spoke with at Brands Hatch on Sunday, people were coming up to me and saying hello, and I didn't know who they were, and they introduced themselves and they said they're followers of the page and they enjoy the page and they enjoy the interviews, and even some of the drivers. Oh, hang on, you're curious what other cars lined up on the shelf behind me? Now that's a lovely question. Put the shelf up a bit too high. You all know my age now. I kind of grew up in the 80s. I was born in 1981. Up there is Ayrton Senna. There you go. That's Ayrton Senna. Got all other photos up here as well. And this is the Ayrton Senna shelf behind me. It's every F1 car he drove. I'm going to do this very, very quickly. Chronological order, left to right. Here you go. Whoopsie, don't drop it, Richard. Ayrton Senna, the Tolman. Bit blurry, isn't it? Is that going to come into focus? So we have the Tolman. Oh, that's dusty. Need to, blimey. Lotus. Obviously, they're not allowed to put JPS on it. That's Ayrton Senna. That one there. One of the most underrated liveries in the history of F1. This one. There you go. Again, can't put camel on it, so it's got Lotus. 1993 McLaren. There you go. All spinny wheels. They all work. And of course, the car that makes us all very, very sad whenever we see this, the one that he was sadly lost in. So that's my Ayrton Senna shelf. So there you go, Keith. Thank you very much. That's what is on the shelf behind me. I don't know if you're interested in this, but yeah, there's some Ayrton Senna artwork there. This is Roberto Moreno signed photo in the AGS. These are all the British champions of my lifetime: Nigel Mansell, Damon, JB, and Lewis. Not very good, is it? These ones up here, 86, the year that I got into F1. Ayrton, Nigel, Gerhard Berger in the Benetton, and up there's Alan Prost, and there's other ones here as well. So there you go. All the dark side stuff. My wall and mantle is Derek and Paul. Right, Derek and Paul Warwick stuff. I'm just going to open up my window here. Hang on, I've got a little. I'm just going to show you this. I've got to show you the rest of the room because it's an absolute tip. But hang on, I don't know if you can see the window ledge there. There's 23 cars on there, all various models, all 1 to 43, Onyx and Mini Champs. I'm not going to go through them all, obviously, but the first one here is I'm just going to do 2 or 3 of them because why not? Yeah, this is the Ferrari 375 Indy of Alberto Ascari. That's an absolute beauty. Look at that. We like that. We've got Lotus. We've got Jackie Stewart's Tyrrell. Another one of the most underrated cars in history, in my opinion. Gotta love this. The March 751 Vittorio Brambilla. Look at that. It's a fantastic car, isn't it? Look at that. Beautiful. Was that 76, 75, that one? And I've got Hesketh, and I've got the 6-wheeler Tyrrell, and the Wolf, and Lotus, and Brabham PK Moreno. So yes, I've got it bad with the model cars. But yes, that's a little look into my life. I'm sure some of the followers would be quite happy if you put some of your photos that's on the wall up for auction. I'm sure you would. I'm sure you would. But they're not signed. You don't want signed ones, do you? Oh no, actually, that one Roberto is signed. This is David Brabham who signed that one. Mark Blundell here, and actually, this is a cool one. I actually won this in a competition. That's Murray Walker and Ayrton Senna. And that's actually signed by Murray Walker. I won that in a competition, which is pride and joy. So, but yeah. I mean, I could put some of the things up on my wall, but there's enough. There's enough signed stuff for to go around. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Right, last chance, guys. Ask me anything about motorsport, and I'll see what I can come up with. 2 more minutes, and then I am going to go because it's 11:30 nearly. But before I do that, I just want to say thank you very, very, very much to everyone who tunes into these things, everyone who hits like on the articles, everyone who comments on them sensibly. You get the few daft ones. To everyone who's come and said hello or said anything nice about the page or anything like that. As I said, this thing has got enormously out of hand from the little hobby that I started. But it's all because of you guys. You guys would do the following and the sharing and the interaction, and that's what keeps me going. It's what keeps the page going. So yeah, 5 years has been pretty amazing. Did you ever build a model car? No. I should have been bought. Opposable thumbs are wasted on some people. Honestly, I should have had hooves. I should have been born a horse. Not good at that kind of stuff. I'll leave that to you, Nikki. You build some very cool ones, mate. That McLaren you built recently was wicked. Love that. But no, guys. I mean, you know, I'm the one that puts the stuff out there, but you're the guys that keep the page going. So yeah, just keep tuning in, keep hitting like, keep hitting, keep commenting, keep interacting. Hang on. Oh, I should confess, a couple of your articles have made their way into my own archive. Well, that's cool. That's kind of cool. I quite like that. I'm not a journalist or anything like that, but that's pretty wicked. That's kind of cool. So thank you, Vitola. I appreciate that. So yeah, guys, as I was saying, thank you very much for all the support over the last 5 years. It's grown from this little hobby into speaking with guys like Emanuele Pirro tonight. I mean, Emanuele Pirro, he's won Le Mans. He's raced in Formula One. He's been employed by McLaren for the last goodness knows how many years. Derek Daly has like logged in, and we've got the UK Legends champion and 2 real young rising female stars, and a touring car legend, and they've all tuned in, and I don't quite understand how it's happened, but I'm very grateful that it has. It's every now and again I have to step back and it makes me smile. So thank you very much, guys, for all your support over the last 5 years. I hope there's at least 5 years left in me and left in the page. And we'll see where this goes. But no, thanks for being part of the 5-year celebrations. If this hasn't been too boring, do tune in 8 o'clock UK, 9 o'clock Central European time. I think that is 3 p.m. Eastern time, and 2 and 1 and 12 going back across the States. Tomorrow we've got Alex Tagliani joining us live. Looking forward to that. I'm going to need to get some sleep beforehand. So guys, Rich from the Hard Compound signing off. Thank you so much for being part of the last 5 years. Thank you for being part of the birthday celebrations. And check out the Just Giving page where we can raise a whole bunch of cash for Race Against Dementia, which is, of course, Jackie Stewart's charity. Jackie Stewart has given motorsport more than any single individual should have been able to give motorsport with all the safety improvements that he's done. So I think we owe it to Sir Jackie to raise some money for his charity. So do go and check it out. justgiving.com/THCRAD. Thank you so much again for all your support. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow for Alex Tagliani Live.